yo, we about to spoil the beans. Bunch of movies you never seen. From Titanic, Gone Girl, Infinity War, and Creed. Got the homie Deric Coastin' finna tell you where he's seen. From the beginning and everything in between, man, we finna spoil the beans, dog. With Sam and the son, got the whole team, dog. We get it poppin' from Memphis to AZ, dog. Welcome to the audio version of AMC, dog. We gon' spoil the beans, y'all.
And Jeffrey, my boy.
Hey, what's up?
You returned.
I'm alive, yeah.
For the 300.
Yeah.
Bro, this is the
Good
third.
movie.
You know what's crazy about today's episode? It is brought to you by those Greek men who defeated those Persians.
Oh, wow.
They sponsored today's ep. Shout out to them. Guys, go make sure you buy their Formula One powder for making those abs so strong. And also, they have really good hair care products. Guys, go follow them. Shout out to the Persians as well. They also sponsor this pod. I don't pick sides. Wow. But that's not what today's about. Today is not about 300, the movie. Today is about 300 episodes of Spoil the Beans. That's a lot of episodes.
That's a lot of episodes. That's a lot of movies.
You know what's crazy? There's actually way more than 300. Like, the last episode was, like, bro, because we have a bunch of bonus episodes that we didn't number.
I see. Okay.
So it's really like episode 350, if we're being all the way honest.
Okay.
But, like, even the last episode, like, it could have easily been episode 300. I just called it a bonus ep because I wanted this to be episode 300.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, I wanted it because you have to be on episode 300, bro.
Have you done like 20 bonus episodes in a row that are?
I was planning on it. I told Sam, I was like, well, if I can't get him, we're just gonna drop like 30 bonus episodes. At some point, we'll be able to link up into this.
At some point, I think you should just like call this one 500.
Yeah, I could just number whatever the fuck I want. Can't I?
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody's watching.
Oh, come on, lay off the guy.
Yeah. No, I didn't. You know what's funny? I meant like people are watching, but nobody's like, I listen to them because of the numbering system.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
But also, there's some, bro. The reason I picked you for this episode, my
friend Jesus watches from Half Moon Bay High School.
Shout out Jesus.
Go Cougars.
Go Cougars. Shout out Half Moon Bay. Shout out the Dead Cats.
Yep.
There's a lot of dead cats there, specifically because of Berner. I'm not gonna say what happened. I'm just gonna say specifically because of him.
Time passed.
Maybe time.
That's what got them all, was the passage of time.
Yeah, through you. They had to pass time with you. They did. They lived with you.
Yeah, it's my fault. All my pets died when I was a kid. I knew it. I knew my parents were just being nice.
They were being nice, dude. I'm not gonna be nice to you. This podcast is about keeping it real.
Right.
And when it's real, it's right. And when it's right, it's your dead cat. Guys, 300 episodes. Jeffrey, if you could have 300 of anything in the world, what would it be?
Quarters.
You'd have 300 quarters?
Yeah.
Well, I have a little something for you.
Okay.
It's not 300 quarters.
Oh.
It's 300 episodes of Spoil the Beans.
Oh.
You can go back and watch all 300 if you want. They're available on YouTube, Spotify, or iTunes.
Let's watch right now.
You want to start from the beginning? Want to start with Titanic?
Yeah.
All right, we'll be right back. Guys, we're back.
Oh, man, I'm tired.
I really hope somebody paused it. I can only hope someone paused it and fucking like actually went back and like was like, you know what? I want to catch up. Because this is their first episode.
Right.
You know? And if this is your first episode, that's amazing. You're coming in on this one means a lot to me. Even though, because I love doing this podcast. I genuinely love doing it. And to everyone who does listen, I sincerely mean this. I cannot believe you listened to 300 episodes of me telling a movie that you've already seen to someone you don't know. You know what I mean? For no reason whatsoever. And the fact that like this is a part of your day and your life, and you guys come to shows whenever I do have shows, and you guys always send just nice messages, and you guys just like listen and tell your friends, and I appreciate it so much. And we grow every day. I like, that's the reason we're doing this episode with Jeffrey today on the 300. Because it's like, oh, why wouldn't you do it with like Hassan or Sam? And it's like, no, I needed Jeffrey for today because the biggest episode I've ever done on this podcast is with you, my man. The biggest, and I mean like, we get pretty good numbers, but like, this one is my biggest episode by far. This episode has been downloaded 5,000 times. The episode that I'm talking about, the biggest episode I ever did with you. All my other episodes they do great, but that one is like, oh wow, that's like a lot. For me, that's a lot of people who specifically picked that movie.
Right? Huh? Do you think it's just that's the episode where I quietly listened the best?
I think you really did a good job. You really honed in your listening skills,
Okay.
and you found yourself listening on that one. You weren't just listening, you were listening. You know what I mean?
Whoa.
Usually you're just listening.
Right.
That one, you were
I
listening.
became listening.
You became listening. You were an ear. I kept looking over, and you were a gigantic ear.
Yeah, they
And so I was like, whoa, he's doing it.
they call me the human ear.
Yeah, you know what it's
Yeah.
like? It's like when you when a pitcher is throwing a perfect game and you don't want to say anything to distract him. When you became an ear, I was like, oh my God, I shouldn't mention that he's literally just an ear. And then I was like, no, he's an ear, right? Like, if I say something, then he'll just be Jeffrey.
Right, that's true. Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah, I'll let you stay in the zone.
I didn't even know I was an ear.
Hopefully you can be an ear again today, buddy, and you can bring that same ear energy you brought in that one.
I've got to harness my ear powers.
Jeffrey,
Yeah.
I love you so much.
Love you
I'm so sorry about Kanye West and all the things he said about you personally. He did say your name a lot, and I felt bad for that because I know how much the I Am King album, Jesus is King album means to you. So,
Well,
That
that's
one
what
specifically.
that's what I get for stealing Judaism from him. Yeah,
did you have to do it?
yeah.
Oh.
Everybody just wants Judaism so bad, you know. It's such a desirable thing. Right? You know, you look at Hasidic people, and you're like, fuck, how do I get that?
How do I get that, bro? How do I get some of that in my life? I do think that every time I see anything Jewish.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you survived that, and I'm glad you survived all of his threats and his amazing music, and you made it to this episode today. Buddy, you ready to hear a movie?
Yeah, put it in me.
You want me to put a movie in you?
Yeah, put it in the ear.
Oh, I'll put a movie in any hole you want me to.
Let's start with the ear.
Oh, so okay, this could escalate.
I'm definitely an ear guy.
Oh,
Yeah,
all right,
yeah.
little
That's,
dirty little
that's
ear boy. Huh?
listening first base.
All right. That is listening first base.
Yeah.
That is like if we're gonna start somewhere, you have
Yeah.
to start there.
Then by the listening all listening all the way is when you put the words up someone's nose.
Oh damn.
Yeah, when you
That's if you're listening. If you were listening like with your butthole.
mm.
Like if at some point I'm like telling the movie and I look over and you're just like your ass is right here because you're so into the movie. You want it in you even more directly. Like when if you drink liquor through your butthole
Yeah,
and
yeah.
get more drunk.
Right.
If I tell the movie through your butthole, you can see it.
Yeah.
You can like feel it.
Yeah, I'm like, whoa, well, that's the effects in this are crazy. Yeah.
You can really feel it.
Yeah.
My guy, I'm so excited, dog. Thanks for coming again.
Yeah.
Bern, I'm on the edge of my seat to tell you this because also it's like, bro, you probably, I'm not going to tell you what movie it is, but you'll immediately know because we've been building up to this. All right. This is one of the few things we built up to. Now, you haven't seen everything, so he's going to be a little confused on some parts, and I'm going to fill him in, guys. Don't you worry about that. All you diehards out there. He hasn't seen every single movie leading up to this. All right, not every single one, but I told him the ones that mattered enough. I left out a couple things that movies that mattered enough. Clearly, I know you're gonna be like, oh, but you didn't say this one yet, and we'll go back and I'll tell him those two. But for now, it's like, no, bro. For episode 300, it had to be this.
I see.
It had to be this, bro, because the other one was too big. You ready?
I'm ready. Yeah. I'm stoked for this. Okay. I've been waiting a while for this one. Yeah.
Immediately starts, and I mean Jeffrey, like. No amp up, no build up. You know when like you sit in the theater and the movie starts and it just, oh shit, the movie's already happening.
Yeah.
It's one of them. Like I remember being in the theater and being like, get the fuck out of here. It's happening. Because it's just like, oh, it wasn't nigga, it went from that like, cut your phones off, yada yada, like cut your phones off, because the movie's about to start, and then it goes to black, and then the movie started. It was like, yo, there was no credit, there was no music,
Right.
no nothing. Just the movie is starting.
Like what about production cards? Do we at least
Nothing.
get? Wow.
That's what I mean.
Fuck
They
yeah.
they were like, let's go.
All right.
We see Hawkeye training with his daughter, all right, in his beautiful place in like the middle of nowhere, like his house, and she's doing like archery, she's shooting bow and arrow, and they're laughing and goofing off and practice shooting. Camera pans over, you see his two younger sons, they're like throwing the baseball, playing catch. You see his wife setting up the table for dinner. You see like outside, it's all like outside, it's beautiful shots. His daughter hits the bullseye and he's like, fucking good job, Hawkeye. She's like, thanks, Dad. And the mom yells, all right, that's enough practice, soup's on. And he's like, all right, all right, we're coming. And he turns to go grab the bows, and then he turns back around, and his daughter's gone. He's like, Lila? Lila. And then he turns where his family bro, they're in the middle of an open area. It's like open area forever. It's like a picnic, you know?
Right.
And he's like, honey, wife's gone. Silent, bro. It's silent. Babe. Bro, you see his face turn for like now he's in superhero mode. Like he grabs his bow and he's like, yeah, boys, babe, Laura. Fade to black. Boom. Like you hear a country song start playing. Don't no. The Marvel logo starts coming up. Don't no. Marvel Studios. You know what movie we're doing by now at this point?
Last Dance.
My nigga. Okay, but
Yeah.
I'll stop because you know at this point we're clearly doing EndGame.
Yeah,
we're doing
yeah.
EndGame. We're doing the big one. We're doing
Yeah.
the big daddy. What do you remember? Because now what do you remember happening last from Infinity War? Because it's been a while since I told you
Spider-Man
that.
died.
Spider-Man fucking dies.
Yeah.
You remember how he dies?
He's scared.
He is scared. Yeah, like
He's
literally
afraid
of
and,
death.
talking to Iron Man and he like disappears and it's sad.
It's sad.
Yeah.
So you remember everybody. So you remember they lost.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They lost pretty big time.
Yeah.
And pretty much all the superheroes faded away.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's where we are. Right. So you could tell that first shot was Hawkeye dealing with said situation.
Right.
You know, which I love that they start, because I remember being in theater, like, it immediately brought you back to, oh, yeah, they lost.
Right.
Like, you're immediately like, oh, yeah, nigga, like, and then imagine being, I was rewatching it just like, bro, imagine being a Hawkeye fool and you a superhero and you just chill with your family and they're gone. And it's like, that's it.
Yeah. And it's probably not an easy way to lose people as they stop existing.
Yeah, in a sudden blink.
Yeah.
I mean, which is how most people die, which is like they just die like that. But normally they don't disappear.
Right. Yeah. At least normally you get like a corpse for closure.
Yeah. And you go like, and you'll be like, oh, somebody killed my family. Like you wouldn't even know Thanos did that. He wouldn't know anything for a while.
Right.
You would just be like, what the fuck just happened? You would probably, and just they didn't dive into this. Most everybody would be like, you wouldn't be like, oh, I think some purple man snapped us away. You'd be like, oh, God came back.
Right. Yeah.
Everyone, no one mentioned that. No one was like,
yeah. Did the rapture happen?
Oh, wow, you 1,000,000% would be like, oh, the rapture happened.
Right. Yeah.
And then you would also be like, damn, literally half the population were Christians? Like right down the middle? That's crazy.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Not only good Christians.
Yeah, jeez.
Yeah.
Interesting. And then you'd be like,
Although,
really?
Is there any other kind?
Come on, give me some. But then I guess you would immediately know it's not the rapture. It's like, why? You'd be like, because my Muslim neighbor died. Hey, look, he was secretly being a Christian, like in his closet. Like
Muslims can be good Christians.
I like the idea though, like he's doing all the prayers. He goes to the wall, does all these things, but like when he lays down at night, he's like, I love you, Jesus. Jesus, please don't forget.
Or he doesn't find out he was a good Christian until he gets to heaven.
It was like, hey.
And he's like, oh, fuck.
I was damn. And they were like, he was like, wait, so is there a Muslim heaven? They're like, oh, yeah, but you didn't get into that one. But you're good enough for our heaven, baby.
Yeah, why does God have that accent? Why doesn't he have the accent?
God's like, yo, I'm fucking God. All right, so you're caught up.
Yeah.
But there will be holes because you've seen, I told you. What do you remember what I've told you so far? Like the movies I've told you so far. I told you Infinity War.
Yeah.
You remember the other ones?
Ragnarok.
Told you Ragnarok.
Yeah. Black Panther.
Told you the big BP.
Yeah. I saw the sequel to that as well.
You saw the sequel?
Yeah.
Not as good?
Yep.
Not nowhere near as good?
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, I told you Doctor Strange?
Yes.
And that's it?
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's enough. Because you've seen a lot of the other early ones, which also play into this, which helped me as well. Like you've seen the first Avengers, you've seen the first Iron Man, you've seen like a lot of these other ones, right?
Yeah.
Like those early ones. So that helps as well. Because this is this is insane that this is the big ending of everything they've done at that point. Because of course there's this whole universe now. But you gotta understand, like, this is like from Marvel, from the first Iron Man movie to this, is one storyline.
Right. Yeah.
All right. So this is just everything else, but this is that storyline, bro. So that's what makes this like, holy fuck. They really wrapped this up like beautifully. So, all right. Cut to back to space. All right. Movie starts now. Back in space. We see the like that Guardian ship, right? But it's all kind of fucked up looking. And you see Iron Man on that bitch, and he looks fucked up. Clearly, like he lost a fight to a purple monster.
Right.
Okay. And he's on it with Nebula. You remember Nebula, the girl, the blue lady?
Oh yeah.
Blue robot lady. And he's teaching her how to play. You know the game where the football is a triangle and you kick it like that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What's that game called? It's not foosball.
No, because it's like you mean literally just like you've got like the goalposts.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And you're holding your fingers like this, and then somebody's got a little purple, like a little paper.
Right.
Football.
I don't know if there's a name for that.
I feel like there was a name for it. Did I just we make one? I thought there was a name for it, but you know the game.
I never knew the name for it. Yeah. Professional football.
Let's call it professional American.
Professional American NFL football.
Let's call it that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Professional American NFL Raiders football.
Yes.
I think what it's called.
I feel like that's about right.
Yeah.
So you see, he's teaching her how to play, and she's just being a robot about it, Sure. And he's like, all right, see, that's a goal. She finally makes one. He's like, oh, that's a goal. Good job. He's like, we're one apiece now. And she's like, I'd like to try again, please. He's like, oh, okay. Right? And then, he's like, she wins. He's like, you have fun? And she's like, it was fun. Right? And you can tell they've been on this ship for a minute, fool. You see Iron Man get up, and he goes to, like, the front of the ship, and he's skinny as fuck. So it's like, oh, it's been a minute.
Yeah.
Like, he looks malnourished.
Okay.
And he sits down, and he has like one of his helmets there, and he fiddles with it, and it cuts on, right? And it's like recording him. And he goes, hey, Miss Potts, you find this recording, don't you fucking post it on social media. Because I don't know if you'll see these, or God, or if even if you're still, God, I hope so. It's day 22, and you see like flashbacks of them going through like how long they've been in space, and you see Nebula healing him up, and he's like, the big blue meanie's been taking care of me. She's been doing her best. The fuel cells got cracked during battle, but we reversed it, and you see them like fixing that, and it bought us 48 hours of flight time. And you see them flying for a while. He goes, but now we're dead in the water. Oxygen runs out tomorrow morning. You see they're on their like literally this last itty bitty little pouch of food, and he tries to give it to her, and she's like, like, I'm a robot. Right. Like, you eat it. And he's like, he eats it. And he was like, I know I said no more surprises, but I was really hoping to pull one last one off. But don't feel bad about this. Don't, just grovel for a couple of weeks, and then, move on with your life with enormous guilt. I should lie down, rest my eyes. But just know, when I drift off, I'll be fine. And I'll dream about you. Because it's always you. And then he cuts it off. And he lays on the floor, and he's just looking out into space. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And he falls asleep. Nebula comes up, and she sees him, and she's like, damn. It's like silence, bro. It's like, damn, this nigga's like really dying. Like, right. He's like, he looks fucked up. Fool.
Yeah, that's probably worse than getting snapped out.
Yeah, bro, just dying in space, starving to death.
Yeah.
And Nebula like picks him up, and she puts him in the chair, and she sees he's about to die, and she like touches him, and she walks away, and he's sitting there, and he's knocked out, and then his face starts getting bright, and then it gets brighter and brighter and brighter, and finally he's like covering his eyes, you know what I'm saying? And then he opens them, and it's a beam of light coming at him, and it gets closer, and it's fucking Captain Marvel.
Okay, that's a okay.
You know what that is?
No.
And you shouldn't. She sucks. But she's like the person I hate the most in the whole Marvel universe. But she's an important part. So the Captain Marvel movie.
Pretty good entrance.
Very.
Yeah.
So she had a movie. Do you know what she looks like? It's Brie Larson, and she looks kind of like. I'll just show you a picture. What am I doing?
I remember I remember hearing people complain when Captain Marvel came out.
Because it just sucked. Captain Marvel. That's so funny. My phone just said, "Hey, that's not nice." I said Captain Marvel just sucked, and my phone said, "Hey, don't say that. You don't have to say that."
People worked really hard.
So this is Captain Marvel right here.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
All right. She's very important. Her powers are like
trailer.
Her powers are like insane. Like she's like a stronger than God type situation, like Superman type powers. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Which to me makes every superhero. Whenever a superhero can do that, it's boring. That's what makes Thor so interesting, is because Thor has those kind of powers, but they found a way to like make him funny and like make him like oh, he can be a part of it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They humanize him, whereas she is just like this all-powerful being.
She's just flawless.
Yeah, I hate that. I hate when superheroes that.
Yeah.
That's Superman. That's why DC, like, I'm just not into the Black Adam when we went and saw that. Because he's just that. It was just, oh, he's a god. He can do anything. And it's like, well, who gives a shit?
Right, yeah.
You know?
Is she named Captain Marvel because that's the name of the company that, like, she's... I don't know if you know... Do you know Marvel Comics?
You know what's funny? You might be right. I don't know. I don't know the history of her like that. I know that in the comics it was a guy.
Okay.
Captain Marvel was a guy, and they made him a woman for the movies, which I don't care about. I just wish they'd have picked a better actor, and then I wish they'd have made a better movie, and I wish that they'd have made her more compelling when they involved her with these movies. Okay. But she's not in it. But Captain Marvel shows up.
Okay. Ooh.
And she's like, yeah, and she literally is like, she's like, I'm a woman, I got big tits. She says that. Women, right? I'm sure it wasn't even the script. She just wanted to brag about her tits. So back to Earth.
Yeah.
We see Captain America, and he's shaving his face. And because I don't know if you remember, in Infinity War, he has the beard. He has like a beard when he's doing all that fighting and shit.
Yeah.
So you see, like, because this is right after. So he's shaving his face, and he's looking at the mirror, and the mirror starts rumbling. And then he comes outside the Avengers facility, and Captain Marvel's fucking flying the fucking spaceship down, And you see Captain America runs out, Black Widow runs out, Pepper Potts runs out, Don Cheadle runs out, and Bruce Banner, And you see Tony come down, and you see he's skinny as fuck, and he's all fucked up. And Captain America runs up, and he grabs him. And then Tony looks at him, he goes, I couldn't stop him. And the Cap's like, neither could I. You see Iron Man kind of like eyes get big, like, oh shit, like, because they
right.
That's what also makes it cool is like,
They're
everyone
such a distance away.
Everyone doesn't know what went down in all these
right,
situations, And so Iron Man grabs him and goes, I lost the kid. I lost the kid. And then he goes, Tony, we lost. And Tony's like you see, he's like dealing with it, bro, like fuck. And then right then he goes, Pepper. And then you see Pepper run up, and he's like, oh, thank God. And she grabs him, and she holds him, right? And they just hug. And he's like, oh, thank God. Oh, thank God. You see Nebula and Rocket, they just kind of hold hands. It's just sad for a second, bro. Because everybody's just like, bro, it's defeat.
Yeah.
It is bleak as fuck, okay?
Yeah, half of people died. Half of life.
And to one guy, and all the superheroes fought him. All of them. You all got together, teamed up, fought him, and lost.
Yeah.
Wild. So
yeah, it's a bad time.
It's been 23 days since Thanos came to Earth. You see Don Cheadle talking about what's going on. They're back in the facility. He goes, the world government's in pieces, and we see everyone who's disappeared on camera, like all the superheroes. You see everybody. You see motherfucking Black Panther and fucking the Guardians team and fucking Ant-Man and like everybody who's disappeared, right? You see everybody. So they're like, Thanos did exactly what he said he was going to do. He literally wiped out 50% of living creatures on this planet and in every galaxy. And you see Thor in another room just like head down, right? Iron Man looks over and sees him. Iron Man's still fucked up. He's like, what's wrong with him? And they're like, he's pissed. And Rocket's like, yeah, he thinks he failed. And then Iron Man looks at Rocket and he's like, honestly, till right now, I thought you were a Build-A-Bear. Because it's like, oh, yeah, he ain't never met this nigga.
Right.
So you see Cap come up and go, Tony, you fought him. And he's about to say something else, and Tony goes, I didn't fight him. No, I didn't fight him. He wiped my face with a planet while the magician gave away the store. And then he goes, Cap's like, well, did he give you any clues? Did he give you any coordinates about where he's going to be? And then Tony just goes, and everybody's like, yo. And you can see Tony's fucked up. And he's like, I had a fucking vision about this, you know? God, I need to shave. And he grabs some shit. And he slams it down. God, he's like, you know, and I also remember saying we needed a suit of armor around the world. Remember in Avengers 2, Age of Ultron. Did you see that one?
Yes.
That was the whole argument. Remember that Ultron they were trying to build a suit of armor around the world.
Right.
Because he had a vision that somebody was going to come and destroy Earth.
Oh, wow.
So, bro, everything, I'll connect every dot, bro. They didn't miss one piece. So he's going off at Cap because this was the whole argument. He was like, bro, we need a fucking suit of armor around the world. He goes, but but you were so worried about your civil fucking liberties, but who gives a shit now, huh? Does it matter now, Cap? He's going off, bro. Mm-hmm. And Cap's like, he's like, look at it, like, hey, calm down, Tony. He's like, no, I said we needed it. You know, I said we would lose, and you said we would lose, and you also said, Cap, that we would do that together, because he said that in the last movie, Infinity War. He's like, what if we lose? And the Cap's like, yo, we'll do it together. You know? Mm-hmm. He goes, well, we lost, and you weren't fucking there. And he goes, and then he goes to walk off, and he kind of stumbles, and they grab him. He goes, but that's what we do, right? We do work after the fact. We're the Avengers, right? Not the pre-Vengers. We couldn't be the pre-Vengers. We got to be the Avengers, right? And the roadie's like, sit down. Yo, you proved your point. He goes, no. He goes, no, I got nothing for you, Cap. No trust. You're a fucking liar. And then he takes the fucking thing out of his chest, his thing, and he rips it out. And he goes, you take this. You put it on and you fucking hide. And he passes out. And they're like, Tony, right? And he's knocked out. It's quiet. They put him in a hospital bed. They hook him up to an IV, right? He's fucked up. Mm-hmm. Captain Marvel goes, well, you hear dun, 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 dun. She goes, well, take care of him. I'll be back. They go, where are you going? I'm going to kill Thanos. Dun, 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 dun. She walks off, right? And then they're like, yo. And they all run after her. And she goes, what? And they go, yo, we kind of work as a team here. You know, like, do you know where he is? And she goes, no, but I know people who might. And then Nebula goes, don't bother. I know where he is. And they all look at her. And she goes, he spent a lot of time trying to perfect me. And when he worked on me, he talked about his big, great plan. Even disassembled, I wanted to please him. I said, where will we go when the job is complete? And his answer was always the same. The garden. Remember at the end of Infinity War?
I remember. Yeah, he's in the woods. He's in the woods.
Like beautiful.
Yeah, relaxing. Just really enjoying himself.
A soldier after war.
Yeah, after killing half of life.
God, but you know what it would look like? It did look like, remember when Giannis won that championship and he broke through? And he sits down for a second and he's just
he's just taking it all in. Yeah.
It's the same emotion, which is like.
Well, I guess the emotion isn't always in good circumstances.
Well, I love a good winner.
Well, but he's enjoying nature and the trees.
Yeah, that's awesome.
He killed half a life. It's a little hypocritical.
Which helps more nature and more trees.
Till he kills half of them again. It's a little hypocritical.
Yeah, I guess so.
That's really the worst part of it.
Yeah, he's a little hypocritical. But every superstar is. He's a genius. Wait, is that Kanye?
Who am I to judge?
Rocket goes, yo, so when Thanos snapped his fingers last, the world had never seen anything like it. No power, they show where he snapped his fingers, where he was, which was on Earth when he snapped his fingers, right? Mm-hmm. And they go, no power has ever been seen like that anywhere in the galaxy, right? Not until 2 days ago. And they scan the universe, and they go to this planet. He's like, the stones have to be here because he clearly used them again. And then Captain Marvel's like, all right, let's go. And they go, just like that? And then Cap goes, yep, just like that. And then Bruce Banner's like, oh shit, like you tell Cap's like, yo, fuck, let's go get this nigga, dog. Yeah. And then Bruce Banner is like, well, how are we gonna do it? He goes, we couldn't do it before. And Captain Marvel goes, y'all didn't have me before. And Don Cheadle goes, hey, lady, everyone here is about that superhero life, okay? So relax. Which is, it is funny though, it's like, hey bro, but you don't know her powers. It's like, she might be the missing link.
Yeah.
But I give him being like, yo, everyone here is a superhero.
Right, yeah. It's at some point you probably get bored of people having special powers.
You're like, yeah, they all do.
Right.
So he goes, And by the way, where were you this whole time? She goes, there's lots of planets in this universe, a lot more than you know of, and they don't have superheroes like you to help them. That's where I was. Right then, Thor gets up. Everybody looks at Thor. He hasn't said shit yet. Mm-hmm. And he stands up, he looks pissed, and he walks right up to her face, and then he holds out his arm. Shoom! The axe comes, right? And it's like right next to her, and she doesn't even blink. And he goes, I like this one. Right? And they're like, oh shit. And Cap's like, everybody looks at Cap, and he goes, this is what he said. Cap goes, let's go get this son of a bitch. Dun, 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 dun. Avengers EndGame. Dun, 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 dun,
wow.
dun, dun. Bro.
Dude, they had like a whole movie before the movie started.
A whole movie before the movie even starts,
Yeah.
nigga. Because I remember being in the theater like, nigga, where the fuck they finna go from here?
Right, yeah. Well, Hawkeye's got to get involved at some point. Or is the whole movie just him like in the field like, what the fuck?
For 5. Yo, that's hilarious. You ready?
Yeah.
Cut to them on a ship. Rocket turns and he goes, all right, who hasn't been to space? And you see Captain America raises his hand, Black Widow raises her hand, and Rhodey raises her hands. Because you remember, it's like, oh yeah, but not all these niggas have been to space.
Right.
So you can see they're kind of like, yo, what the fuck? And he goes, all right, well, there's only one rule. Don't throw up on my ship. All right, approaching hyper jump in 3, 2, 1, boom. Bro, you see them niggas start going through galaxies, like, shoot, 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 right? And you see it. It's amazing the way they show it because you see it through, it's a zoom in shot on Captain America's eyes, but you see his eyes lighting up different colors.
Yeah.
And he's like, bro, and you see him like he can't believe it, bro. Because it is like, damn, I can't believe for the first time. That would be like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And they get to a planet, and Captain Marvel goes, all right, I'm going to go down there and do a little recon. And you see Captain America, he's in the ship, and he's looking at a picture of that woman that he fell in love with, Margaret Carter, in the first Captain America movie.
Okay.
Like the first ever Captain America movie. You know, there's like the love interest, like that their lady. You know, it's her, and he's always kept like a little thing of her, and he's always clearly been still in love with this woman. And Black Widow is like, this is going to work, Steve. And he goes, oh, I know it will. And she goes, how do you know? He goes, because I don't know what'll happen if it doesn't. And you see her eyes kind of get big. And then Captain Marvel comes back up and she's like, yo, he's down there, but no one's here. Not any army, not any guards, not anything. No traps. It's just him. And Nebula goes, that's enough.
Oof.
Cut to, bruh, we see the beautiful planet he's on. And you see Thanos. And we see his war gear, like his whole, his chest plate and his pants and his helmet. You see it set up like a scarecrow would be out in the front, like and he has these beautiful fields, right? And it's this huge farm. And you see him with like a knapsack, and you see the back of him, he's just like picking fruit and putting it in his knapsack, And you see him walk up his stairs, and he has a really bad limp, like real bad. He's like, ah. And he's in the house, and you see him make a little fire. And he has on regular clothes. He has on like just like sweats and like a t-shirt, And this nigga starts cooking dinner. And you see his arm is like half his face, and his arm is like really little and all burnt up and fucked up. And like he looks fucked up, like a burn victim. And then you see him like with a bowl of soup, and he looks up, and he's like, what the? Bam! You see Captain Marvel come in, and she fucking starts choking the shit out of him, and she holds him. And this Bruce Banner's not the Hulk. He's still, remember, he can't change into the Hulk yet? In the last Infinity War, he couldn't change because Thanos beat his ass. Yeah. So he's still in that big Iron Man suit from Age of Ultron, the one Iron Man used to fight him.
Yeah.
He's in that shit, right? So you see him grab one of his other arms, and fucking Thor comes over, boom, and he cuts off the gauntlet arm, right?
Okay.
And Rocket grabs the gauntlet and he flips it over, no stones. And they're like, where are they? And then he goes, the universe required correction. After that, they serve no purpose beside temptation. And then they go, where are they? And he goes, you should be grateful. And they punch the shit out of him, right? And they hit him again, And he goes, they're gone, reduced to atoms. I used the stones to destroy the stones. And they go, what? He goes, it nearly killed me, but the work is done, and it always will be. I am inevitable. And they're like, he has to be lying. Find him. And then Nebula's like, My father is many things. A liar is not one of them. And he looks up. Thank you, daughter. Perhaps I treated you too hard. Wham! Thor cuts this nigga's head off. Blood. You see it too. Blood. Like some of it hits Nebula's face, and Nebula doesn't move. Bro, it's like, yo, they're going crazy in this one, dog.
Yeah, they're understandably upset.
Oh.
Yeah.
And then Thor, like, everyone's
Man.
standing over and they're all looking at Thor, and Rocket goes, what the fuck did you do?
Uh-huh.
And Thor's like, I went for the head. And he walks off.
Yeah, I get that.
He told him to go for the head. Sad music starts playing. They looking at each other. Fade to black. 5 years later.
Okay.
Bro. These niggas lost.
Dude.
Yo, what a good
Is
movie.
this whole movie they're just fucking really sad? Is that just the whole movie and then there's just nothing happy?
It's called EndGame, dude.
They all just die of old age feeling like they failed
And
the
PTSD, and
universe?
horrible PTSD.
Yeah.
Like they can't sleep, and one of them does like a mass shooting. It's like, dude, it gets dark.
Whoa, okay.
We see
Yeah,
New
go
York.
for it.
I'm sorry. We see New York City, super empty, pretty much. Like looks deserted. It might as well be deserted. You
Well,
see,
that's nice.
yeah, actually, it's
Yeah,
better.
that's kind of a plus. Yeah.
We see Captain America at this like self-help group.
Uh-huh.
You know, like when everybody sits in a circle type shit, like a therapy type shit.
Group therapy.
Group therapy.
Yeah.
And you see a guy talking about like, you know, trying to go on through life and how fucking sad he is and how he went on a date recently though, and you know, but the whole time him and the date just cried through the whole date, you know, because it was just impossible to talk about anything.
Yeah.
And then you see Cap start giving him advice, and he goes, "Yo, we all got to take baby steps if we're gonna be whole again, and you know, try to find some purpose." I mean, hell, I met the love of my life, you know, 40 years, you know, I met the love of my life like 70 years ago, and I met the love of my life, and then they put me in the ice for 40 years.
Mm.
Now it's 70 years later, and hell, I'm still trying to move on, you know, but the world is in our hands. And we have to do something with it, guys. We have to. Or otherwise, Thanos should have just killed all of us. And then you see them all kind of nod.
Man.
Well,
It's crazy how like real and like deep of a statement that is, but in the context of like, I'm Captain America. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
I am a flag. but also like
Imagine if a flag was a
he's so
person.
right, and that's so real, but it's also so not real.
It's like, bro, it's Captain America. Why would he
Yeah.
he doesn't even make sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, he said the most deep shit ever.
Mm-hmm.
San Francisco. We see a storage unit.
Uh-huh.
Right? And you zoom into this big warehouse, into this big storage unit, and you see the van inside. It's the van that Ant-Man uses. Now, pause right here, guys. Jeffrey has not seen Ant-Man 1 or 2, yes?
Correct. I've seen Horrible Bosses.
You've seen Horrible Bosses?
Paul Rudd's in that, right?
No.
No, what am I thinking of? Role Models. I've seen Role
You've
Models.
seen, okay, perfect.
Same thing?
Pretty much.
Okay.
He's very funny. You know his powers because he was in Infinity War.
Yes.
So
yeah.
you know what he can do. It's Paul Rudd, yada yada. So in Ant-Man 2, I have to tell you this because this is very important. This is why this is important. So because remember, they think Ant-Man is gone. He's disappeared, right?
Right.
So in Ant-Man 2, at the end of the movie, so they do all the fighting and they do, you know, I'm not gonna tell you the whole movie. I'll just tell you what is important.
Okay.
They do all the fighting and the whole movie happens. He fights the bad guy. He wins.
Can you
Typical.
imagine if you told me a whole movie?
Right now, I was like, oh, dude, I hit pause. I go to another note sheet, and you're like, oh my god, he has to tell me all of Ant-Man 2.
That'd be a great episode.
That would be pretty
yeah,
cool.
Yeah, be like Godfather or something.
Damn, I should do that on one.
Yeah,
where it's
like
just
a
the-
multi-part.
It's just like 6 hours.
Yeah.
The guest has no idea. They changes their day because I didn't warn them. They're thinking they're coming for like an hour and a half.
It starts in the morning. And then by the end of it, they're like hungry and it's night.
It's night. So at the end of Ant-Man 2, after he goes through his whole, you know, superhero arc in that movie and he defeats his villain, yes?
Mm-hmm.
You know, at the end of all of the Marvel movies, there's a post-credit scene.
Yeah.
Okay? So Ant-Man 2, It comes out after Infinity War.
Okay.
It was the first movie to come out after Infinity War. So you're watching it and you're like, oh, wait a minute, this doesn't make sense because everyone should be like, and then you realize like Ant-Man 2 takes place right before Infinity War happens.
Okay.
Like
yeah.
right before, right?
All right.
So he has nothing to do with what's going on with what they're dealing with. Like he's dealing with his own shit.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end, that's Ant-Man 2, and then at the end of the movie, you see him standing outside his van. Like when you watch the Ant-Man movies, he has a team, which is really funny. It's like the best part of the Ant-Man movies is his team.
Okay.
And they're really hilarious guys. It's like T.I. and that Michael Pena guy, or not Michael, I forgot his name, but he's a great actor.
Mm-hmm.
And like they're really funny, and that's his like crew of guys, right? And they have this van. So that's like it's like the Ant-Man van. They kind of use it a lot.
Okay. And
you see at the end of Ant-Man 2, you see the van. You see Hank Pym, which is the original Ant-Man. The Ant-Man story, the Ant-Man suit gets handed down to Paul Rudd.
Okay.
All right, but that's Ant-Man 1. I'll tell you that another time.
Okay.
So, but there is an original Ant-Man, and it's Hank Pym, and it's the actor, great actor, like one of the best actors. Oh fuck! I gotta show you just so you can know who he is, because you gotta know, because he comes up later too. This nigga, him.
I don't know if I know that. I've seen his face. I've seen that face.
Yeah, he's what's this nigga's name, bro? I can't believe I can't think of this nigga's name.
Just gotta say it there.
His name is. He's like a legendary actor. Michael Douglas. Fuck.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god, that's why I'm like, no, it's important.
Right.
So the original Ant-Man is Michael Douglas, all right? He's standing next to him, and the movie, the Ant-Man 2, is called Ant-Man and the Wasp, which is like his sidekick, right? So he's standing next to the Wasp as well, all right? And at the end of Ant-Man 2, they're like, all right, they invented a machine to go into the quantum realm, which is like this super microscopic universe,
Yeah,
you know, which is where the Ant-Man deals with a lot of his fighting and all that stuff because he can shrink down. Like in the comic books,
that's dope.
So they set up the next,
he's like smaller than atoms, and he's
and there's whole universes in there.
Dope.
That's why he's dealing with that when that's the Infinity War stuff going on.
That sounds like a really good movie.
Yes,
that's crazy. Holy shit.
That's why I know because Ant-Man wasn't in Infinity War. I'm sorry, I forgot about that. Ant-Man's not in Infinity War. I just realized that. He's not in Infinity War,
right?
Because he's dealing with all this stuff. All right.
He's in an infinitesimal war.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you know what's even crazier? The next big Avengers movie coming out. I mean, the next Ant-Man movie coming out is called Ant-Man Quantumania, and it's him dealing completely with the quantum realm.
Yeah.
Because this is just a post-credit scene. All right. So like the Ant-Man 2, he's dealing with regular shit, but it's about getting the machine that can go to the quantum realm.
Okay.
Because it's in the wrong hands. It's always a situation like that, right?
Sure.
But he's fighting someone on Earth. And so this is the post-credit scene where they have the machine that can go into the quantum realm. So they're like, all right, Ant-Man, we're going to send you into the quantum realm, and then we'll send you right back, all right? And it's Hank Pym, and it's Hank Pym's daughter, who is the Wasp, okay? And he's like, okay. And they push him in, and they're like, so we'll send you in for 5 seconds, and then we'll send you right back. And he goes, all right. He goes in. And he shrinks down to a little atom, and he goes into the quantum realm. And he's in there, and he's like, all right, guys, bring me back. Guys, bring me back. Camera pans back out. You see them three turning into dust. And you just hear, guys. That's how Ant-Man 2 ends. That's the post-credit scene for Ant-Man 2.
Ooh.
Back to, all right?
That's talk about a situation.
Come on. Back to this moment. San Francisco. We see this van in a storage unit because it was just sitting in the middle of a fucking parking lot. Empty.
Right. Hey, real quick. Storage. If you have storage needs and live in the Oregon coast, you should go to Grand Ron Storage.
Grand Ron Storage.
If
you where at in Oregon?
Grand Ron.
What's it? Is it literally called Grand Ron?
Yeah.
Guys, go to Grand Ron Storage in Grand Ron, Oregon.
Yeah. It's to store things, RVs or other stuff. Your Ant-Man van. Yeah.
Which might come into play in a couple movies later. Yeah. So you never know.
An ABG property.
So you see the van, and we see a little rat walking across the machine.
Okay.
And when it walks across the machine, it accidentally turns it on, and bam! It shoots Ant-Man out the machine.
Oh, that's lucky. All right.
All right. And he's like,
Yeah.
And he looks around. And he's like, what the fuck? He's in a storage unit. He's like, what the hell? He goes, Hope? Hank? You see the security guard like notice him in the storage unit, like, yo, hey man, what the fuck? And they kick him out. The security guard, by the way, it's just a little cameo. It's the Ken Jeong from The Hangover.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, it's just him. It's dope that you can tell. He's like, oh man, he just wanted to be in this movie, clearly.
Yeah.
And he lets him out. So you see Ant-Man walking down the street, deserted, like this deserted street. And he's like, what the fuck? He sees a kid on a bike. He's like, yo, kid, what the hell happened here? And the kid's just like, the fuck are you talking about? Like, look, the kid just looks at him really sad, right? Cut to, you see him walking and he runs up on this huge memorial thing, like dedicated to all the vanished. And it's like the vanished whatever memorial of San Francisco. And he runs up and he starts going through all the names and he's going through and he's freaking out. He's like, oh my God, no Cassie, no Cassie, no Cassie. That's his daughter's name. No Cassie, no Cassie, no Cassie. And then he's running and he looks and he sees Scott Lang, which is his name. And he's like, he runs, he takes off, he gets to his house, he bangs on the door. His daughter opens the door. She's 5 years older. The last time we saw her, she was a little kid. Now she's like 17, nigga, you know what I mean? And he's looking at her and he touches her face and she's touching his face and she's like, because she grabs him, she's like, what the fuck? And he goes, Cassie? She goes, Dad. And he goes, oh my God. And they hug and he starts bawling. He's like, you're so big. Right? And she starts laughing. Cut to back to the facility. We see Black Widow, and she's sitting in like the big Nick Fury chair. Because remember, Nick Fury gone. He evaporated too.
Right.
Remember that Infinity War, the last post-credit scene is he evaporates as he calls Captain Marvel. So that is, by the way, that was I forgot to mention, but that was the last actual moment, and then that's why Captain Marvel shows up to save Iron Man.
Okay.
Because of that Nick Fury gone. Anyway, back to where we are now. We see Black Widow facility. She's in a chair and she's talking to like everybody on these big screens, right? And you see Rocket, you see the Black Panther head general, the bald lady.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay.
You see.
I almost know her name.
I always forget it too. You see Captain Marvel, and she has like a short haircut now. And you see Rhodey in one of them. Don Cheadle, and they all talk. They're all like talking about like what they're all dealing with wherever they all are. You know what I mean? And like on some Avengers shit. Like you tell she's kind of like giving them missions, and she's kind of dealing with that now. And Captain Marvel goes, yo, there's like thousands of planets, and I'm trying to help everybody on one of them. I'm trying to help everybody, so you guys probably aren't going to see me for a long time. And she goes, it's all good. Just keep lines of communication open, and anything happen, anyone comes at it, anyone decides to come at us, you guys let me know. It comes through me. And they all go, yes, ma'am. Okay. And she like cuts it all off, and you can tell she sits back. She's like, Rhodey stays on the call. You see Don Cheadle, he stays on the call. And she goes, what's up? Where are you? And he goes, I'm in somewhere in Japan. And where that huge gang was just murdered. And she goes, oh, anything important? He goes, it's Barton, Hawkeye. She goes, no, you go double check and yada yada. And she goes, it was a bullseye on every shot. It's for sure him, right? And she goes, he's like, he's been doing this for 2 years now. Like, we got to do something. And then she goes, just find out where he's going next, please. And he's like, nah. She's like, just find out where he's going next. He's like, oh, yes, ma'am. And he hangs up. And then she just goes, she starts bawling. So Hawkeye's out just killing people, fool.
Dude, this movie.
Hawkeye's out just murdering people because he's mad about his family.
Sure. Yeah, I get that. Yeah, something bad happens in the personal life, you go harder into the work.
You go harder into the work, dog.
Yeah, you start murdering
anyone.
Well, sounds like he's killing. He's still anti-bad guy.
He is, but it's like when you're killing like everyone in the whole gang, like 30. He killed like 40 people, 80 people in the gang. It's like, how many of them?
All right, yeah. At least one of them was just going to get coffee for everybody.
Yeah, one, and it's like I'm sure 3 of them were like, dude, I was born in this life. Like I didn't even like.
Yeah.
I don't like. It is like, oh man, you're killing. Like he's killed. Like he said, he like killed like 30 something people, and it's like he's been doing this for 2 years.
Okay, so yeah, maybe
he's wiping out gangs.
Not the most empathy.
Yeah. He's wiping them out. So you see Captain America gets there, and she tries to stop crying. He makes her laugh. And he goes, hey, you want to know something crazy? I saw bunch of whales today on the bridge, like on the way over the Hudson.
Mm-hmm.
And she goes, really? He goes, yeah, fewer ships, clearer water. So now whales are coming through New York, you know? Because it's just like, it was crazy. I was like, oh, it would change the ecosystem like crazy.
Right.
Half living things being gone.
Yeah, it is good for the things that don't die and also don't care about the things that died.
Yeah, they're just like, oh my God, everything's nicer.
Yeah. The whales, I guess, didn't notice, or I don't know. Or maybe they're just better at moving on.
Well, they're smarter. Yeah, we don't know. They're down there mourning their ass off. They
yeah.
could be down there mourning their ass off that the other whales just disappeared.
Yeah, they spend their whole lives crying anyway. You ever hear
Pussies,
them?
yeah.
Right? Oh, I'm a whale.
Yeah, they do just cry all day.
Yeah.
Damn,
And then
bro.
dolphins just laugh at them.
That might be a bit. That might be a bit.
Yeah,
That's really
that's
funny.
pretty solid,
That's
yeah.
really funny. So she goes, Cap, if you're about to tell me to look on the brighter side, I swear to God, I'm going to hit you in the face. He goes, sorry. Force of habit. And he sits down and it's quiet. And he goes, you know, I keep telling everyone else to move on and grow. But God. I mean, he goes, and some do, but God, not us. And she's like, and then she goes, if I move on, who does this? And then Cap's like, maybe it doesn't need to be done. And she goes, I used to have nothing. And then I got this job, this family, and I was better because of it. And even though they're gone, I'm still just trying to be better. And then Cap's like, I think we both need to get a life. And then she laughs. Right then they get a call. Hello? It's like the front of the building. Hi, anyone there? This is Scott Lang. We met in Germany. I'm the Ant-Man. Pause. Ant-Man, and what that line meant when we met in Germany, and the reason they know who he is, is because in Captain America Civil War, Captain America 3, which is one of the best movies, which I will tell you one day.
I've yet to see that one. That one.
It's an awesome one.
That's the first Marvel movie I remember people talking about. Like, these are amazing.
Oh, bro, it's insane.
And I was like, no.
That way, fair, but it was insane.
I've heard.
But the biggest moment in it is a big fight scene that happens. I'm not gonna tell you what, because I'm gonna tell you one day. But a big fight scene happens, and it happens in Germany. Okay, and it's where Ant-Man and Cap meet each other. All right, so that's why he's like, you know, Germany, Ant-Man. He's like, I got really big, because he got really big in the fight. Okay, and they're like, yo, what the fuck? Is this an old message? And she goes, no, he's at the front gate. Because they're like, yo, he's supposed to be disappeared. What the fuck? Right. And they let him in, and you see him all panicked, and he goes, do you guys know anything about quantum physics? And then Black Widow goes, yeah. And Cap looks at her, and she goes, to make conversation. And he was like, oh yeah, she hangs out with Bruce Banner and Iron Man.
Right.
You would want to know about that stuff to make conversation.
Yeah, otherwise you're just kind of sitting there.
Yeah, while they're talking about it.
Quarks?
Yeah, you sound like an idiot.
Yeah.
He goes, well, look, 5 years ago, okay, before Thanos, I was in the quantum realm. It's its own universe, all right? And he goes, and Hope, you guys don't know her, but she was supposed to pull me out. And then, and they go, Thanos happened. He goes, yes. And I was stuck there. And she goes, oh my God, I'm so sorry, Scott. That must have been a long 5 years. He goes, it wasn't. It was like 5 hours for me.
Okay.
And they go, what? He goes, yeah, the quantum realm is completely unpredictable. Time works completely different there. But if we can navigate through it, what if we could theoretically enter a point in the quantum realm and come out at an, exact certain other point, like before Thanos? And they go, you mean like a time machine? He goes, no, God, no. Like a time machine. And they go, Scott. He goes, I'm serious. I can't stop thinking about it. I know it sounds crazy. And she goes, it doesn't sound that crazy. He goes, really? She goes, Scott, I get emails from a raccoon daily. Nothing's crazy anymore. And he goes, so who do we talk to about this? Cut to, we see a beautiful cabin on the lake. And we see our motherfucking nigga, bro. Iron Man. He walk outside. He looks like himself now. He's back to, it's been 5 years. Mm-hmm. He's healthy. He looks good. Comes outside. He's like, hey, chow time. Maguna. He comes up to a little kid's tent, knocks on it. Morgan H. Stark, you want lunch? And you see this beautiful little 5-year-old girl come out with a mask on.
Okay.
And it's like an Iron Man mask. And he goes, where did you get that? That's a gift for your mother. And it's like a really dope mask, right? And she goes, I found it in the garage. He goes, the garage? And he's like, I like to spend a lot of my time there. And he holds her, he picks her up and he holds her. And then right then you see Captain America and the crew pull up in his driveway. And he's like, he doesn't say anything. They follow him inside. And it's quiet. And then they go, all right, Tony, what do you think? And he immediately goes, it's impossible. It's impossible. If you guys try this, you're not coming home. And then Ant-Man goes, I did. I came home. He goes, you accidentally survived. That's a cosmic fluke. That's not supposed to happen. And now you want to pull off and then Ant-Man goes, a time heist. And then like everyone else kind of looks at him and starts laughing. And he goes, guys, look, what do you mean? He goes, the stones are in the past. So all we got to do, Ant-Man's like, all we got to do is snap our own fingers and bring everyone back. And then Cap's like, it can work, Tony. And Tony's like, wow, I honestly miss that giddy optimism, Cap. I do. He goes, and they go, but it needs to be, and they're like, but it needs to be safe. That's why we need you. He goes, look, guys, if we do this, the most likely outcome is going to be our demise. And then Paul Rudd's like, no, it's not. Not if we follow the rules of time. He goes, what the hell are you talking about? And he goes, all we got to do is not talk to our own selves, not make sure we don't like mess anything with the past. He goes, stop. Are you telling me the rules right now from Back to the Future?
Literally, what I was just thinking. Yeah.
He goes,
that's a good.
Yeah. He goes, no. And he goes, guys, shut up, all of you. This is not how quantum physics works, okay? And Cap goes, Tony, we have to make a stand. And Tony's like, we did make a stand. And it's quiet. And he goes, and I lost someone really important to me. And no. He goes, we did make a stand. And then Ant-Man goes, look, I wasn't there for all that, but Tony, I lost someone really important to me because he's talking about Hope, his girl, And he goes, and I know you have a lot going on with your new family and stuff, but we have a chance to bring everyone back, and you're not even gonna help. And Tony goes, yep, I won't even help. And then right then his little daughter runs out, and she's like, Daddy, Mommy told me to come save you. And he holds her, and he's like, thank God, I'm saved. And he looks at him, he goes, guys, I wish y'all came to ask me anything else, and I mean it, anything else. And he goes to walk off, and Cap's like, Tony, this is a second chance. And Tony's like, Cap, I got mine right here, and I can't ruin that. And he walks inside. Bruh, the writing is so good because it's like, it's so simple, the dilemmas, but it's like, oh, that's, you 100% agree with everybody. Of course, Cap and them and everybody else is like, yo, we got to bring everybody back. But for Tony, he's like, guys.
He's started over properly. Yeah. He's been able to.
I started over.
Yeah.
You can't, and y'all go, like, I can't.
Right.
They all leave. Black Widow's like, fuck, he's scared, and we need him. And then, Cap's like, we do need him, but we can't stop. And they go, well, what do we do? He's like, we have to get it done. We just have to make sure we do it right. We're going to need a big brain. And they go, who has a bigger brain than his? Cut two. You see there with the big-ass Hulk, nigga. Right. Yeah. And he's the Hulk, but he's also Bruce Banner. It's super smart Hulk.
Oh, okay.
All right? Like, he has a T-shirt on. He has a cardigan, jeans. I swear to God, but he's the Hulk. Okay. And he's, like, eating breakfast. They're at, like, a breakfast shop, and they're all looking at him like, and he's like, somebody goes, Black Widow goes, okay, hold on. I'm confused. And then Hulk goes, these are confusing times. And it's like, he's talking in like his regular voice. Right. And they're like, what the? And he goes, I'm kidding. I know this is crazy. I wear shirts now, right? And they go, why are you wearing shirts now? He goes, look, 5 years ago, we got our asses beat. But you guys only got your asses beat once. I got beat twice. First Hulk lost, then Banner lost. And for years, I realized I was treating him like a disease, something that needed to be cured. But now I put the brains and the brawn together. 18 months of hard studying, and I figured it out. And now look, I've mastered both worlds. And you see little kids come up, and they're like, can we get a picture with you, Hulk? And he's like, hell yeah. He's like, Hulk out. Right, kids? Stay in school. And then they're like, Paul Rudd goes, you guys want a picture with me? I'm Ant-Man. And nobody says anything. And he's like, come on, get it. And then like he has to like start explaining who Ant-Man is, and then he's like, it's fine. Cut to, we see Bruce. And he's like, so what are we saying? Like time travel, can it work? You know, a time travel do-over per se is what y'all are trying to do. Look, guys, that's outside my area of expertise. I don't know nothing about that. Quantum realm stuff. Like he said, I don't know about it like that. And then Black Widow goes, well, you pulled this off. I remember when you thought this was impossible. And he kind of smiles. Cut back to you see Iron Man's late night. He's doing the dishes. And he's looking at a picture. And he stops and he grabs it. It's a picture of him and Spider-Man from Spider-Man Homecoming, which is Spider-Man's first movie. All right? And he's like, he feels super bad. He goes downstairs and he's like, Jarvis, let's run let's just run something real quick. One last simulation before we pack it in tonight. Can we run a quantum realm, yada, yada, like it says a bunch of fancy words, but can we do it in the shape of a Mobius strip, inverted, please? And let's just see if that works. And he goes, processing, sir. And, he's like, don't worry if, and he grabs a coffee. He's like, don't worry if it doesn't pan out. I doubt it will. Just trying to see. And it goes, 100% successful. And he's like, he sits down. He's like, shit. And then right then behind him, his daughter goes, shit. And he's like, what are you doing up, little miss? And she goes, shit. He goes, we don't say that. Only mommy says that word. And then the little girl goes, why are you up, daddy? He goes, because I got important shit going on, girl. And she's like juice pops? And he goes, that's extortion. But yes, it was juice pops. That was on my mind. And he picks her up and he looks back at the thing and he's like, whew. And he goes upstairs, puts her in bed. He's like, God, I love you tons. And she goes, I love you 3,000. And he smiles really big. This nigga can act, fool. Mm-hmm. He smiles really big and he steps back and he goes, 3,000? Wow. That's crazy. Go to bed or I'll sell all your toys. And then he walks out, right? And then he goes right to Pepper Potts and he goes, not that it's a competition, but she loves me 3,000. You were in the 900 range. And she laughs and they start like having small talk. She's like, yo, so I was like thinking about going to this dinner, yada, yada. He goes, yeah, cool. And she keeps talking. She's like, yeah, because, Bill and Susan will be there. Maybe, that'll be fun. He goes, hey, by the way, I figured it out. And she goes, are you going to tell me what you figured out? He goes, time travel, just figured it out. And he sits down and she goes, what? And he goes, yeah, yep. She goes, wow, Tony, that's amazing and terrifying. And he sits. And she goes, Tony, we got really lucky. He goes, yeah. She goes, lots of people didn't. He goes, yeah. And he goes, and I can't help everybody. I can't. And then she goes, but Tony, it seems like you can. He's like, I can put a pin in it. I can stop it right now. And she goes, Tony, trying to get you to stop doing anything has been the biggest failure of my life. And he's like, he looks up and he's like, something's telling me to just put it in a goddamn lockbox and drop it in the bottom of the lake and just go to bed. And she goes, but Tony, would you be able to rest? And he's like, this is amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, this is it's crazy how dramatic this dialogue is and good. And then
they really took some time with this one.
And then there's a Hulk who's wearing clothes and talking normal in the same movie. Yeah.
Just eating eggs and pancakes.
Yeah. May I say, I do wish they included a scene where Hulk goes in to get clothes for the first time.
Bruh, they should have a very pretty woman scene, and they don't want to sell him clothes, and then he's like, big mistake.
Right. Well,
huge.
Well, that's what I was saying. He shows up as Hulk, but he doesn't have Hulk clothes yet.
Yeah.
He's got to get fitted.
He would have to
go to a big and tall store.
He would have to go to a big and tall store and still get fitted.
Yeah. To show up in ripped shorts. Excuse me.
They can talk now?
Yeah.
Excuse me. And they're like, just 1 second. He's like, oh, sorry.
Yeah, they still gotta
see him looking around kind of doing piddling with stuff, Cut back to the facility and you see all the crew there and they're like, time travel test number 1. All right, Scott, fire up the van. And they fire up the van and the quantum realm machine gets going. And they go, all right, Scott, is Hulk talking. He's like, I'm going to send you back 1 week, let you walk around, then bring you back. All right? Good luck to you, Scott. You got this. He goes, you're right. And then Captain America goes, hey, Scott, you do got this. And he goes, you're right. I do, Captain America. This is, what matters in the first 3 movies in Civil War, where you meet Ant-Man and then Ant-Man 1, Ant-Man 2, he has a huge obsession with Captain America. So like these are like also running jokes, but like that one is like, but it is a great moment because he's like, the way he looks at him, he's like, I do, Captain America, right? And they go, all right, bring him back in 3, 2, 1, and they send him in, and they go, all right, let's bring him back. 3, 2, 1, and they push a button, they send him back, and he's a teenager, and they're like, oh shit, wait, try again. And they send him back, and he comes back, he's a super old man. They're like, oh shit, try again. And he comes back, and he's a baby. And they're like, oh, fuck. And then Hulk's like, all right, it's fine, we'll leave it here. And they go, he's a fucking baby. And he goes, he'll grow up. And they go, bring him back. And they go, all right, we got to try. We try one more time. And the machine starts kind of short-circuiting. He goes, we got one more shot, here we go. And they bring him back, and he comes back, and he's fucking Paul Rudd, right? And he goes, someone peed my pants. But I don't know if it was baby me or old me or me. And then Cap's like, oh my God. And he walks out disappointed. And he looks up, and from way far away, you see a car speeding. He's like, what the fuck? Right in front of him. And it parks, and you see Iron Man roll down the window. He's like, why the long face, Cap? Did he turn into a little baby or an old man? And he goes, yeah, that among other things, right? And he gets out. And Tony says exactly how they fucked up. It's like, oh, that's because you guys didn't account for this, this, and this, and you got to do a Mobius strip, yada, yada. He goes, well, don't worry about all that. I fixed it. And he holds up this wristband. He goes, this right here, get you anywhere you need to go, anywhere in time. And he goes, what? And he goes, look. And Cap goes, holy shit, Tony, like, for real? He goes, yeah. He goes, look, all right, I'm going to help, and we got a shot at these stones. But Cap, I got priorities. Bring back what we lost? Yes, I hope we do. Protect what we have? I have to, at all costs. And then it's quiet, and he goes, but let's not, he goes, and also let's not die trying while we do it. And Cap goes, sounds like a deal to me. And they shake hands.
Yeah. Which one am I? Am I?
You're Cap.
Okay, cool.
You're definitely Cap. So he opens up his trunk and he grabs something, he pulls it out, and he opens up a bag, and it's the shield, the Captain America shield. Mm-hmm. And he tries to give it to him. He goes, no. He goes, no, my dad made it for you. Also, I have to get out of my garage before my daughter uses it as a sled or something. He's like, oh, thanks, Tony. And Tony goes, well, it's not just me and you, right? We're getting the whole team together. And Cap goes, oh, yeah. Right then you see a big ship land. You see Rocket come out. And you see Nebula walk by. You see Rhodey land. And you see Hulk come out, and he goes up to Rocket, right? And Rocket and Hulk take off on the ship. You see you hear super fun music start playing, like New Asgard. And they go to this beautiful place in New Asgard. Do you remember at the end of Thor Ragnarok, they go to New Asgard, right? And they're like, Hulk's like, Rocket's like, whoa, this is a step down from all the gold palaces they used to have, because it's just like this little land on the coast.
Okay.
And Hulk's like, hey, bud, they lost all their people and their home. Take it easy on them. You see the Valkyrie, remember the black girl Valkyrie from Ragnarok?
Yes. Yeah.
She comes up and she's like, hey, big fella. He's like, hey, Valkyrie. And she's like, ugh, I like the old you better. And he's like, where's the big guy? We're looking for him. And she's like, he won't see you. And she's like, what do you mean? She goes, we only see him once a month when he comes down for supplies. And she points like to the right, and there's just like 1 million beer kegs.
Sure. Yeah.
All right. So they go up to a door, bro. This like when this in the theater. This was awesome. They go to a door. They knock on it. Yo, Thor. Thor. They open the door and they're like, "Oh my God, it stinks in here." Thor, and you hear him kind of like mumbling, "You here for the Gable? Goddamn sports are a little fuzzy." And they go, "Thor," and you see him walk by, and he turns, and he is fat as shit. Bro, he's super fat. And he has long blonde dreads. And his beard's dreaded.
Yeah.
And he's drinking a beer and he turns and he's like, boys! And he comes and he's like, Rocky, come here, you rascal. And he hugs Hulk and he goes, oh, you guys remember my friends, Meek and Cork? And you remember Meek and Cork?
Mm-hmm.
Like the guy with all rocks,
Yeah.
the little guy with knife hands.
Yeah.
And he goes, hi, Meek, I'm Cork. There's beers in the bucket. Feel free to log into the Wi-Fi. No password, obviously. And they're like just playing video games. And they're like, Rocket and Hulk look at each other like, what the fuck? And then as they're playing video games, you hear Korg go, oh, Thor, he's back again. The kid, he called me, Thor, he just called me a dickhead. And then Thor goes, Noob Master. And they go, yep, Noob Master 69, he's doing it again. And then he grabs the microphone and he goes, Noob Master, it's Thor again, God of Thunder. If you keep talking to my friend this way, I swear to God, I will fly over to your house and rip your arms off and shove them up your butt. Do you understand me? Well, go cry to your father, you little weasel. I don't care. And he throws the microphone back at Korg, and Korg's like, thank you, Thor. He's like, it's okay. You let me know if he does it again. He's like, I will. Thank you so much. And he goes, oh, you guys want a beer? We got, drinks. We got tequila. Hulk grabs him. Buddy, are you all right? He goes, yeah, of course I am. You look like melted ice cream. Oh, no, I'm fine. Well, we need your help. For what? Thanos. Everybody gets quiet. They all stop. And Thor's like, and he grabs Hulk. Starts crying. Don't say that name. You don't say that name. And then Korg gets up. Yeah, we don't really say that name here, mate. And Hulk's like, I know he scares you, but we got to do something. He goes, why would I be scared of him? Huh? I killed that guy. You think I'm scared of the guy I killed? Huh? Anyone else in here kill that guy? Nope. Didn't think so. I did that. And they go, Thor, we know you're in a rough spot. And Hulk goes, I was there once. And you know who helped me get out of it? He goes, who? Iron Man? You did. You did. He goes, I didn't do anything. Ask those Asgardians out there how much I'm worth. Nothing. He sits down and downs another beer. And they go, he goes, we can bring him back, Thor. We we have to do it. And he goes, well, I don't want to do it. I could care less. So just leave. Bye-bye. And they go, Thor, we need you, pal. Come on. And then Rocket goes, there's beer on the ship. And Thor's like, what kind? Cut to Tokyo. We see this ninja killing niggas, slicing them up with a sword, right?
Uh-huh.
Just taking them out one by one. He's just going through a whole building. It's dope. So he's like going through a building, like jumping from room to room, taking niggas out. And you see this Japanese dude jump out a window, and then a guy jumps out, the ninja jumps out following him. And the dude speaks in Japanese. He's like, oh, and it's like, why are you doing this? Right? And then the ninja goes, and it's like, you survived. Half the planet didn't. They got Thanos. You get me. Bruh.
Pretty cold. Yeah.
Bruh. You see this nigga, he starts slicing, they start fighting. He slices this nigga up, the ninja. Just shing, right? Slice him up, right? And then he goes, and then right when he's about to kill him, the guy goes, what? Huh? He says, what do you want? And he's like, what I want, you can't give me. Shing! Cuts his fucking head off. You see him take his hood off, and you see the mask, and he's like, you see him from behind, and you see just like a mohawk. And then you hear, you shouldn't be here. And you hear Black Widow, neither should you. And then you hear, he turns and it's Hawkeye. He's the ninja. He's like, I got a job to do. And Natasha's like, that's what you're calling this? This won't bring your family back. And he doesn't say anything. And she goes, we found something. A chance. Maybe a chance. And he looks over and he's like, don't. Please don't. And she's like, don't what? He's like, please. Don't give me hope.
Dude, this is really fucking dark.
Dude, we're just getting started.
I was wondering why one of the main characters hadn't, like, in the interim killed themselves or something. Like, that's the only thing missing from this, honestly. Oh, God, I don't like what your eyes do there.
Yo, this is, I mean, bro, this is why everybody's like, I mean, Infinity War and this was two of the best take superhero out of it. I think what I think of Infinity War, and this is right behind it to me. I love Infinity War so much, but to me, it's like Kill Bill 1, Kill Bill 2. Some people love Kill Bill 1 the most because of the action and all the stuff in this. Somebody be like me, I love Kill Bill 2 because of the story and the wrapping it up and like how beautiful it ends and like and how much everything in 1 mattered in 2. Like,
yeah,
so to me it's like that. Like this movie is perfect. It's just I just personally like Infinity War better, but I understand when people are like, oh, EndGame is better. I have no arguments against that.
Yeah, this one probably pulls at my feelings more than
Infinity War. They were just dealing with Thanos. It was fighting going down.
Yeah.
It was just straight because the action was what was leading Infinity War. Like things kept happening, they had to deal with it. Because remember they didn't know what was coming at them, so they were reacting. Right. Whereas in this one, they're moving the plot forward. The dialogue, which is very rare for it to be a good superhero movie, where the dialogue is moving it forward.
Right. Yeah.
Because that was my problem with Black Panther 2, was that they were trying to make it a dialogue, and it was like, no, this needs to be action based. The dialogue can move it forward because this is calling back everything that's happened in the last 20 movies.
Right.
So it's like, oh, every single thing is mattering and it's building up to something, clearly.
That's a good point. Okay, I guess that goes on my list of problems with Black Panther.
So she hugs him and she goes, I'm sorry I couldn't give it to you sooner. Okay?
Yeah.
Rock music kicks in. We see like fat drunk Thor coming on, like walking like down the facility, and fucking Iron Man like walk by and he's like, move over, Big Lebowski, because he's got like a robot, like he literally looks just like the Big Lebowski, bro. And Iron Man's like, hey, Ratchet. And he's like, it's Rocket. Take it easy, pal. You're only a genius on Earth. Remember that. And Iron Man kind of looks at the Rock, because Rocket's a genius too. Right. It's a raccoon. Rocket's like super smart. The raccoon. So you see these dope white time travel suits that they have. Here, I guess you got it, because they looked really cool.
Okay.
They wear these dope suits. Damn, I can't get a good shot of it. See that? Like, see what I mean?
Okay, yeah.
Like these, like so they're not just wearing like they look like Iron Man suits, but they're like all white.
Right. Little skin tight stormtrooper kind of.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's dope.
So and like you see Hulk trying to put like the big Hulk, like smart Hulk, he's putting like these PIM particles, which are the PIM particles are important. So those are the things that Ant-Man uses to get bigger and smaller.
Okay.
So all these suits have to be able to have them so they can get small enough to get to the quantum realm.
Right.
You know what I mean? But Ant-Man goes like, yo, while he's putting him in the suit, he's like, yo, be fucking careful, man. These are PIM particles. All right? Like, he goes, these are the only ones left on Earth because Hank Pym got snapped out of existence. So nobody else can make anymore. He's the only one who knows how. He's the only one who has the formula, which is true. He never even told it. He still hasn't like told it to Ant-Man in all this time. So like no one had, only he can, even still, like the actual original Ant-Man is the one who really still controls it. Because he's the only one who can make the PIM particles work, which makes the suit can do what it can do.
Right. Good call.
So
it's like vibranium.
It's exactly like the vibranium situation. So he goes, hey, man, this is all that's left on Earth. We have enough for a round trip each, all of us, no do-overs, and we have enough for 2 practice runs. And then right then he accidentally hits one, and it goes, shoot, he goes really small, and then he comes back big. He goes, 1 run. Oh, shit. And then Ant-Man's like, I can't do this. I'm not ready. And Hawkeye goes, I'll do it. Because, he has, like, nothing behind his eyes anymore. Yeah. He's just, there's nothing behind. He's just, also it's Jeremy Renner, who's such a great actor. A lot of, but so he's, like, you can see, it's like, oh, this nigga is gone. Like, he's not the same Hawkeye.
Yeah.
He's a completely different person.
He's got good sad eyes. Yeah,
he does. So, Rhodey's like, if we can do this, Rhodey, because they're about to send Hawkeye back in time for the test run. Rhodey goes, yo, if we can do this, let's just send him back in time and kill baby Thanos, And they go, first off, that's horrible. And time doesn't work that way. Changing the past won't change the future like that. That's not how it works. We just got to go back and then Don Shooter goes, no, we don't. We just got to go back and get the stones before Thanos. That's all we got to do. He goes, you sure about that? He goes, yeah, that's what I heard. He goes, where'd you hear it from? Oh, I don't know. Star Trek, Terminator, Time Cop, Quantum Leap, And then Ant-Man goes, hot tub time machine. He goes, hot tub time machine. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. And then Ant-Man's like, Die Hard. And they're like, what? He goes, oh yeah, not that one. There's no time travel in Die Hard, huh? And then the Hulk explains how like time travel really works and how they're really going to do it. And Ant-Man's like, wait, so Back to the Future is just a bunch of bullshit? And they go, yeah, dude. And they go, all right, Clint, we're going to send you back. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. They send this nigga through the quantum realm. He flies. He's shooting through it. And then he comes back out, and he's at his house. And he can't believe it. And he walks up to his house, and he sees his son's baseball glove, and he hears him inside. And he hears his daughter. He's like, Lila, Lila. And then he runs, and he's like, Lila. And then they send him back. So then he snaps back, and then his daughter runs down. She's like, Dad? Dad? You see this nigga laying back, and they're like, hey, look at me. Look at me. You're okay. Did it work? He's like, it worked. And Iron Man's like, yes. And
Dang.
Cap's like, all right, well, we got the how to work. Now we just need the when and where. Everyone in this room has had at least one encounter with an Infinity Stone. And then Iron Man goes, or at least damn near killed by one. And Paul Rudd's like, I haven't. And they go, also, I don't, and Paul Rudd goes, I haven't. Also, I don't know what anyone's talking about. What are Infinity Stones? And they go, regardless, we can only do one round trip each. So there's no super convenient spot to pick where they're all exactly there. We're going to have to pick individual targets. So let's start with the ether, which is the reality stone. And they go, Thor, what do you know? And they all look at Thor. And they go, Thor. And this nigga's like, he has shades on. This nigga's knocked out. Right? They wake him up, and he goes, all right, so the reality stone isn't really a stone. It's more of an angry sludge kind of thing. So make sure you change that in the record books. Here's a little funny story about it. My grandfather once had to hide it from dark elves, so he hid it in Jane accidentally. And he pulls up a picture of Jane, which is his ex, Natalie Portman. He goes, Jane's my ex. It's an old flame of mine. One time the ether actually got stuck in her another time, and it made her super sick, and I had to take her to Asgard, and I got to intro her to my mom, which was really nice, which is everything in Thor 2.
Okay.
So everything he's describing happened in Thor 2. Okay? He's like, and that's my mom, who's dead. And now me and Jane aren't dating anymore. And these things happen. Nothing lasts, right? Right, guys? It's great because this nigga is so fat, fool.
Right.
And Iron Man's, all right, that's it. Let's just sit down. Let's sit down, buddy. And they go, all right, what about the Power Stone, which is like the purple stone? And they go, well, what about when Quill took it? You remember the first Guardians movie? How it opens? Dun, dun, dun,
Yeah.
And he's sliding through, and he grabs like a little rodent thing, and he's singing in it, and he steals this orb. Mm-hmm. That's how the beginning of the first Guardians movie starts.
Right.
That's the Power Stone.
Okay.
All right? So they said, oh, like we can do right there. And they go, what about the Soul Stone? And Nebula's like, that's on Voromir. It's where Thanos killed my sister.
I definitely remember that.
And she goes, it's the Dominion of Death. And Ant-Man's like, oof, not it. And they go, what about the Time Stone? And they go, well, Doctor Strange had it. And they go, yeah, didn't he have a nice place in the village? And they go, no, he lived in Canada. It's like, no, he lived on Bleecker and Sullivan. And they go, really? He lived on Bleecker and Sullivan? And they're like, yeah. And they go, wait a minute. Wait, he lived in New York. And they go, yeah. And Cap goes, guys, if you pick the right year, there are 3 stones in New York at the same time. And they go, oh, shit. And they go, we have a plan. 6 stones, 3 teams, 1 shot. You see them all walking up in slow motion in their white uniforms, like to the fucking machine, right? In slow motion. 5 years ago, we lost all of us. Friends, family, a part of ourselves. You hear Cap talking. But today, we have a chance to take it back. You see them all standing in a circle on this big platform that they made to send them all to the quantum realm, right? And he goes, today we have a chance to take it back. You know your teams. You know your missions. Get the stones. Get them back. 1 round trip each, boys and girls. No mistakes. Be careful. Look out for each other. This is the fight of our lives. And we will win it. Whatever it takes. And Rocket's like, wow. He's really good at that. And Ant-Man's like, I know, right? So Rocket gives Hawkeye like his ship in like a little mini ship, and then like a PEM particle thing to make it get big, so he can hold it in his hand. And Rocket's like, hey, bring that ship back to me in 1 piece. And he goes, yeah. He goes, no, promise me. He goes, yeah, I promise I'll bring your ship back in 1 piece. And Rocket's like, as promises go, that was really lame. Like, that was a really lame promise, just as promises go, just so you know. He's like, all right. He goes, well, see y'all in a minute. And Black Widow's like, see y'all in a minute. And then all their helmets go chink, chink, like they all come on. And then they all hit the button, dun, 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 like the Marvel music's playing, dun, 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 and they all fly in through like this like quantum realm, and they're all flying, and then chink, all three of them like shoot off in different directions in the quantum realm. Okay? Cut to New York, 2012. We see the first Avengers movie.
Dope. Okay.
Bro, they call back everything.
Yeah.
It's the classic shot of them all in the circle. You know, that first time where they're all like, and they're all looking around, you know?
Yeah.
And then you see our team land nearby. Okay, this first team, and this team is Cap, Hulk, Iron Man, and Ant-Man. All right, that's the New York team.
All right.
Okay, so Cap says, like, all right, everyone stay low. Keep an eye on the clock. And then you see right then, like, the actual Hulk, the old Hulk from that era come by, and he's like, "Rah!" And he's like smashing shit. And you see like the new Hulk, and he's like all embarrassed. And they go, all right, Hulk, you go find the time stone. And maybe, you know, smash some things along the way. And he's like, oh, it's so gratuitous. And he rips his shirt off, and he's like, ah, ah. And he's like pretending to run through the city like that. And you see him jump up to a roof. And when he gets up to the roof, we see it's the roof of where Doctor Strange, remember the Doctor Strange house? Mm-hmm. And you see the ancient one, Tilda Swinton. Mm-hmm. Remember her?
Yeah.
In the Doctor Strange movie? And she's on the roof, like, helping them fight, too. So it's crazy that, like, damn, during that first Avengers movie, she was also helping, and we didn't even know. Right? And Hulk lands, he goes, hi, I'm looking for Doctor Strange. And she looks at him, and she's like, well, you're about 5 years too early. He's performing surgery a few blocks that way right now. And Hulk's like, oh. And she goes, what do you want from Strange? And he looks at her, and she has the time stone around her neck. And he's like, oh, actually, that stone is what I want. And she goes, I'm sorry, I'm afraid not. He's like, well, I'm not asking. And he approaches, and she hits him with the, and like knocks his spirit out of his body. Right. So you see the Hulk body fall, and you see like Bruce Banner come out. And he's like, the fuck? And then Tilda Swinton's like, let's start over, shall we? Cut to Asgard 2013. We see Thor and Rocket. That's the team. All right, the Asgard team. And they sneak by Loki in a prison cell, and they are in the Thor 2 movie. All right, that's all these shots. Like, that's what these shots are from. Right. All right. They see Natalie Portman, and he's like, oh, there's Jane. And Rocket's like, all right, go charm her, and then I'll stick her with this, and I'll get the fucking Infinity Stone out of her body. And then Thor starts freaking out. He's like, yo, I can't do this. I can't do this. I got to go get a drink. And then right then they hear a door open, and he sees his mom. And then Rocket's like, who's that? He's like, that's my mother. She dies today. And then Rocket's like, oh, damn, that's today? And Thor's like, I can't do this. I shouldn't have come. I can't do this. I'm having a panic attack. I think I'm having a panic attack. And Rocket's like, come here. It's okay. He's like, wait, come here. What? He slaps the shit out of him. He's like, hey, you're not the only one who lost somebody, all right? I lost my whole family. Quill, Groot, Drax, that goddamn girl with the antennas on her head, all right? But we got to bring them back. Your mom is gone, really gone, all right? So brush the crumbs out of your beard. You go charm that woman. I suck the stone out of her bear, and then you help me get my family back. And Thor's like crying. He's like, are you crying? He's like, I just feel like I'm losing it. He's like, get it together, man. You can do this. He goes, you're right. I can do this. I can do this. And he goes, I can't do this. And he takes off. And he's like, Thor! And he takes off running. He's like, Morag, 2014. Okay? This is the other team. It's three teams. We see Rhodey, Hawkeye, Nebula, and Black Widow. All right? This is that team. Rhodey and Nebula stay on Morag, all right? They're going to find, which stone are they finding? The Power Stone. The one where they're at, so Morag is the beginning of the Guardians movie.
Okay.
So that's where they are.
Okay, got it.
Okay, and they make the ship get big now that they're in space, and they go, Black Widow and Hawkeye say, all right, we're going to go to Vormir to get the Soul Stone. And then they get on the ship, and it takes off, and then they say the classic line, we're a long way from Budapest. They said that like a million times throughout the whole movie. Okay. And you never know what Budapest is until the Black Widow movie.
Huh, okay.
So Rhodey says, all right, so what do? We just wait for this Quill guy to show up, and he leads us to the Power Stone. And Nebula's like, let's take cover. We aren't the only ones looking for the stones. And she goes, and Rhodey's like, who else is looking for the stones right now? My father, my sister, and me. And Rhodey's eyes kind of get big. And he goes, you? Where are you right now? Cut to, we see Nebula in that time. And she's fucking killing niggas because she's evil. She's a bad guy in that point.
Right.
She's just slicing through niggas, killing them, right? And then we see her and somebody gets a hold of her and it looks like they're about to kill her. And then out of the smoke, Gamora comes, bang, and kills that person. Because Gamora's bad at this time too. This is when they both were just working for Thanos.
Right.
And she's like, I saved you. And she's like, you're welcome. She's like, I didn't ask for your help. Yeah, you always need it. And Nebula's like, God damn it. She's like, get up. Father wants us back on the ship. And Nebula's like, why? And she's like, Gamora's like, he found another Infinity Stone. So they go to the ship, and then we see motherfucking Thanos. Mm-hmm. He comes on the ship, and he's got a little bit of blood on his face and blood all over his knife. And he's like, where is it? And they go, Nebula goes, it's a planet. I mean, Gamora goes, it's on a planet called Morag. You know? And he goes, No, I'm sorry. We see Thanos' ship. Before he comes on, Nebula asks, where's the Infinity Stone? And then Gamora goes, it's on a planet called Morag. And she goes, oh shit, his plan is really in motion. And Gamora's like, one stone isn't 6, Nebula. It's not that big of a deal. And then she goes, it's a start. Because you know what happens if he gets all of them. And Gamora's face kind of gets serious. Then we see Thanos drop in. And he's got blood on his face and blood all over his knife. And he starts talking about Ronan. Remember, Ronan is the first villain from the Guardians of the Galaxy movie, which is the first time we see Thanos. Because Thanos is telling him, like, hey, bring the Power Stone back. Right. Get that orb and bring it back. And remember, Ronan's like, I don't need you. Fuck you, yada, yada. Mm-hmm. That's how that ends. And then the post-credit in that movie is Thanos going, I'll have to do it myself.
Right.
Everything ties it, bro. It all lines up exactly right. And now this is that point where he's doing it himself.
Right.
So he's talking about how Ronan and he's annoying and yada, yada. And Nebula and Gamora go, well, we'll go get the Power Stone and we will not fail you, Father. And then she goes, I'll make you proud. And then right then, Nebula starts short-circuiting and a vision pops out of her eye, like her recording, because she's a robot. Mm-hmm. But it's not her recording. It's the recording of future Nebula talking to Rhodey, saying, like, we're not the only ones here looking for the stone. My sister, my father, and me. And they're watching this, and then it stops. And then Gamora's like, I think her brain got damaged in battle, Father. And he goes, shh. And Thanos grabs her head and, like, picks it up. Bring her to my ship. And she's like, she gets all scared. Cut to, back to the New York group. We see Iron Man. He comes into the old Avengers building. It's the end of the first Avengers movie where they beat Loki. Mm-hmm. And Loki says the line, if it's all the same to you, I think I'll have that drink now. When he's like completely beat and the Avengers are surrounding him. And you see Captain America and he starts, like, they're looking at Captain America and Iron Man goes, wow, Mr. Rogers, that old suit did nothing for your ass. And then Ant-Man is a little on his shoulder. And he goes, I think your ass looks great, Cap. As far as I'm concerned, that's America's ass. So you see these S.H.I.E.L.D. agents come in, right? And they come in and they get Loki's. Now, this is the part of the Avengers movie we didn't see. Mm-hmm. Okay? You see, they come in and they get Loki's staff and yada, yada. And Ant-Man goes, who are these guys? And he goes, and Iron Man's like, oh, they're S.H.I.E.L.D. Well, actually, they're Hydra, but we didn't know that yet. You find out later that these guys were bad guys, but you don't find out until way later. Like in Civil War is when you find that out, okay. And they go, oh, really? Well, they kind of look like bad guys. And he's like, shut up. It's easy to say that now. So you see them, they put the stone in the box that they're looking for, and like in the suitcase, the time stone, and they flick Iron Man flicks Ant-Man onto the briefcase. He's like, all right, go. He flicks him, and he's onto the case, and then they all, like, you see the old Avengers team get on an elevator holding this briefcase that has the time stone, and they all get on an elevator, and they're about to go down, and the Hulk tries to get on, and they go, whoa, Hulk, come on. Maximum weight, buddy. And it's old Hulk, though. He goes, and they go, Hulk, don't. He goes, and he punches the elevator, Hulk, and like he punches it, and he goes, I hate stairs. And he starts going down the stairs, right? So cut back to, we see the Hydra guys, and they have Loki's staff. So the Avengers have the time stone on the elevator. Mm-hmm. The Hydra guys have Loki's staff, which also has a fucking Infinity Stone on it. Right. You see Cap. You see Captain. He's separate, like our Captain, the Captain from our time. Mm-hmm. He gets on to the elevator with all the Hydra guys, and they're all looking at him like, what the fuck is he doing on here? And they go, we thought you were supposed to be doing security with the Time Stone, Cap. He goes, yeah, I got a call. Apparently I'm running point on the scepter now. And they're like, we don't understand that. We didn't get that call. And he goes, yeah, but it's all good. I'm running point. And they go, well, we don't need you to run point. You're supposed to be running point on the Time Stone. And he goes, well, I'm here just in case someone tries to steal this. And you see the guy go, I think I'm going to call the director just to see what's going on. And Cap leans in and he goes, hell, Hydra. And the guy goes, oh. And then you see Cap just walking off the elevator with the staff, and he's like, got it, boys. Like he didn't have to fight nobody. He just was like, oh, because they were like, oh, he must be.
Right.
Cut down, we see back to the Hulk going down the stairs, and he's like, so many stairs. Right? Cut back to, you see all the Avengers. They get down on the elevator, they get down the stairs. You see our Iron Man in our time. He's dressed like an FBI agent. And he goes, okay, Thumbelina, it's time. Do it. And Ant-Man, you see the little Ant-Man, he is crawling up the suitcase, and he goes up Iron Man's arm, the old Iron Man, and he goes into his chest. And we see the bad guys from like Captain America 2. You see these bad guys like from the Captain America 2 movie come up, but you don't know they're bad guys. They look like S.H.I.E.L.D., but they're Hydra. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And they come up and they start arguing with the Avengers like, hey, we need the case. And Iron Man's like, no, you're not getting the case. And he's like, no, we need the case because of this. And then you see Iron Man of our time like, yo, Ant-Man, do it, pull it, cardiac, pull it. And he goes, what's going to happen? He's like, I'll just have a little cardiac arrest. Do it, Lang. And so you see Iron Man goes, all right. And he pulls a little chest. Like he's small inside Iron Man's chest. Yeah. And he pulls a little pin like out of one of his things. Yeah. And you see Iron Man like, he starts convulsing, and everyone's trying to help him. And while everyone's trying to help him, little Ant-Man kicks the Time Stone like out the case, and he kicks it over to where Iron Man is, Iron Man from our time. And Iron Man grabs the case, and he's like, all right, got it. You see Loki, who's in chains, noticing all this. He's like, what the fuck is going on, right? You see Iron Man grabs it. He goes, all right, boys, meet me by the stairs. I'm about to head out. Right then, Hulk blasts through the stairs. Boom! And when he does, it knocks Iron Man, and the case goes flying.
Sure. Okay.
Okay? And Hulk's like, no more stairs! The cube lands, the Time Stone cube lands right in front of Loki, who's in chains. He looks around, reaches down, grabs it, disappears. They've lost that stone. It's gone. But that's important because that comes into play later for another show post this. You ever heard of the Loki show?
I've seen 1 or 2 episodes with you and Sam. Yeah, it was really good.
It's based on, because Loki dies in Infinity War. Remember? Loki dies in the beginning of Infinity War.
Yeah.
You remember that? Right in front of Thor? Thanos kills him. Thanos kills him immediately.
Yeah.
So he's dead. This is a past Loki, but there's but there's a show Loki, and it's post Infinity War, so that doesn't make sense. It's this Loki.
Okay.
It's that Loki that the show's about. This Loki, because this Loki just disappears. You're like, what happens to him? And when the show comes out, you get to deal with the adventures of this Loki.
Okay.
Dealing with this situation.
Yeah, I remember there was the alligator Loki.
It's a bunch of Lokis, bro. That shit's deep when that's how they start getting to the multiverse and all that stuff. So, cut back to Thor. We're with Thor again. And we're still there, and Thor's like, we're still there, and you see Iron Man having a cardiac arrest, and Thor goes, I'm gonna try something, and he puts his hammer on his chest, and he like lightnings it, and then it fucking works. And he's like, oh my god, it worked! I didn't know if that would work, and it worked. And you see Iron Man from our time, he goes, shit, we blew it. And Cap's like, Tony, what's going on? And so they go, Cap goes, yo, Tony, what's going on? What's going on? And Tony's like, oh, I fucked up. And Cap's like, oh, shit, I'm coming down to you. And you see he's holding the staff still. And as he's walking, he looks up and he goes, oh, you got to be shitting me. And it's his old Captain America self. And the old Captain America's looking at him, and he's like, I've got eyes on Loki. He's on the 14th floor. And our Cap's like, I'm not Loki, and I don't want to hurt you. And then the other Cap's like, pfft. They start fighting, right? And he knocks the shit out of the future Cap. He knocks him down. And the young Cap goes, I can do this all day. And our Cap's like, yeah, I know. I know you can do this all day. And then they start fighting, bro. They throwing the fucking shields at each other. The scepter falls out during the fight, right? They keep fighting. While they're fighting, the picture of Cap's girl falls out. And young Cap gets him, starts choking him. He's like, where'd you get this? And he starts choking him out. And he's like, where did you get this? And then our Cap goes, Bucky is still alive. Bucky's the Winter Soldier.
Okay.
He's like, Bucky's alive. And he stops and he goes, wait, what? And then our Cap grabs the scepter and like puts it on old Cap.
Yeah.
And he makes him pass out. He's like, oh. And he gets up and he looks down and he's like, that is America's ass. And he walks off. Insane. Cut back to, we see Bruce. We see Hulk dealing with Tilda Swinton. And he's begging her to help him. Please, you got to help us. We need the time stone. She goes, I can't. If I give up the time stone to help your reality, then my reality right here is in doom. It's not how I can't do that. And he goes, yes, you can. It's not going to, he's like, I think we figured out a way, yada, yada. And she goes, let me show you. And she shows him, like, she goes like fling, and she flings like a line. It's like a magic string. Like, you know what I mean? And like, it goes straight. And she goes, this is the flow of time. The Infinity Stones, and then you see the Infinity Stones. She's like, these create the flow of time. Remove one, and she removes one, and then you see the time split. And she goes, and it splits. Now, removing one may benefit your world, but this world not so much, because this world does not have one of the powers that helps to keep it together. Hence, it can be overrun, and millions will suffer. And can you prevent that? And she goes, he goes, no, but what we can do is erase it. She goes, what do you mean? She goes, because I promise once we are done with the stones, we will go right back to that point in time and put them right back where they were. So technically and chronologically, that reality never changed. And then she's like, but the most important part of that is I have to believe you're going to return them. That also means you have to survive this. He goes, I promise I will. And she goes, I can't gamble the entire universe on a promise. It's the duty of the Sorcerer Supreme to protect the time stone no matter what. And then he goes, well, then, if that's the case, why did Doctor Strange give it away? And she goes, what? He goes, well, Doctor Strange, he just gave his away. He just gave it to Thanos. And she goes, willingly, he gave it away. And he goes, yeah. And she's like, He goes, so you're telling me Doctor Strange made a mistake? And she's like, oh, I did. And then she snaps him back into the Hulk's body, and he's standing right in front of him, and she pulls out the time stone, and she hands it to him. And he's like, and she goes, Strange, it's meant to be the best of us all. So if he did it, it was for a reason. I feel you're right. And he goes, thank you. Thank you. And she goes, I'm counting on you, Bruce. We all are. Cut back to, we're on Thanos' ship. We see remember his number 2 guy, the Ebony Maw dude?
Yeah.
You see him, and he's like, I'm running diagnostics on her memory file, sir. It seems like it's been entangled because some of these memories are not hers. It looks like another conscious is sharing her network. And then Gamora's like, that's impossible. And she goes, no, it carries a timestamp from 9 years in the future. And Thanos is like, where is this other nebula? She's in our solar system, sir, on Morag. Access her. Search all her memories for Infinity Stones. You see all these videos come up of them, and then all the videos of them, of them planning all this shit with the time stones.
Yeah.
And he goes, freeze the image. And then Gamora and Nebula are like, who are these people, Father? Avengers. Despicable group. And then he goes, zoom in. What's this reflection? And they zoom in and amplify it, and it's Nebula. And they're like, there's 2 Nebulas? And he goes, no. Same one. Different times. Set a course for Morag and scan the duplicate for all her memories. I want to see everything. And you see that Nebula who's like, they're scanning all her memories, is just floating there scared as shit. Like, the fuck is happening, you know? Right. We see Thor's mom. Cut to, we see back to Thor. We see Thor's mom, and she sneaks up on Thor. She says, what are you doing? He's like, oh. And she goes, what are you wearing? And she grabs his robe. He goes, oh, I always wear this, Mom. And she goes, hey, what's wrong with your eye? Because remember, he lost his eye. Right. And he goes, oh, just like when I got hit in the face with the broadsword that one time. You remember that, right? And she laughs, and she goes, you're not the Thor I know at all. And the future hasn't been kind to you. And she touches his belly. He goes, no, I'm not from the future. I'm just, And she goes, my boy, I was raised by witches. You think I don't know if you're from the future? And then Thor starts crying, and he goes, I'm totally from the future. I'm totally from the future. He goes, I need to talk to you. Can we talk? And she goes, of course. Cut back to, we see Natalie Portman, and she's waking up in bed, and you see Rocket sneaking up behind her with the fucking, like, poker thing to get the fucking Infinity Stone out of her body. Mm-hmm. All right? cut back to Thor, and he's telling his mom about Thanos and how he feels like an idiot and, a big failure. And she goes, an idiot now, yes. A failure, absolutely. But you know what that makes you, honey? Like everyone else. But I'm not supposed to be everyone else. She goes, the measure of a person, a hero, is how well they succeed at being who they are, son. And he's like, God, I missed you, Mom.
What a good mom, yeah.
Great mom. Right then, Rocket runs up and he's like, Thor, I got it. Right? And he looks at it and he goes, Mom, I have to go, but before I go, I have to tell you something. And she goes, don't. He goes, but seriously, it's about your future. And he goes, honey, whatever it is, it's not my business. And he's like, come on, Rocket's like, come on, we got to move. He goes, I wish we had more time, son. And she goes, don't worry, this was a gift. Now go be the man you were meant to be. I love you, Mom. I love you. And eat a salad, honey. He goes, I will, Mom. He's like, all right, we got to go. 3, 2, wait. And he goes, wait. And they're about to like send themselves back. And Thor goes, wait. And he goes, and then nothing happens. And the mom goes, sometimes it takes a minute. And Rocket's like, what the hell are we doing? And then finally, shing, the hammer hits him. And he's like, yeah, right? And you hear the boom, no, down, hey. We see the opening shot of the Guardians movie. And you see Quill running, like doing, and he's sliding, and he's dancing and shit. And Rhodey watching, come and get your love. And Rhodey looks at Nebula, and he goes, oh, so he's an idiot. And Nebula's like, yes. So they sneak up on him and they knock him out. And they steal his tools and they sneak in where the orb is. And then she reaches in and she grabs it and it burns her arm. And he realizes like, damn, she's really all robot. And she looks at him and she gets kind of embarrassed. And she's like, I wasn't always like this. And he points at his legs. He goes, hey, me either. But we work with what we got. And she's like, yeah, we do. He's like, all right, let's sync up and go back. 3, they sync their watches. 2, 1, he goes back. She short circuits and starts freezing. And her and the other fucking Nebula's memories are like fucking up. Right? Cut back 2.
Man.
We see Thanos. He's watching all Nebula's memories. He watches them show up at his house after he's snaps his fingers again, yada yada. And Gamora asks, like, what did you do to them? And he goes, nothing yet. They're trying to undo something I've done in their time. And then you see right then, he goes, like, you see him, he keeps watching, and he goes, apparently I found them. I found them all. And I won. I tipped the cosmic scales to balance. It's my destiny. And then right then when he says that, you see the part of the video where Thor cuts his head off. And then the video stops. And he goes, and that is destiny fulfilled. Bro, that's a bar, nigga.
Man. I think Thanos isn't the best guy.
I love him kind of. I kind of like him more and more. The more I love him, watch him, I like him.
Oh, he's very interesting, and he's good at his job.
Very good at his job.
He's really good at his job. If I were to hire a guy to, like, kill half of life,
yeah,
first pick for sure.
Yeah, he's definitely a first round draft pick.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of good people I would hire to kill half the planet. There's a lot of good villains out there.
Yeah.
But I'm picking him first. So right then the number 2, Ebony Maw goes, Saya, and he starts choking Nebula. Your daughter is a traitor. And she's like, I'm not. I'll never betray you. And he grabs her face. I know, child. And you'll have your chance to prove it. She's like, yes. We see our Nebula stop short-circuiting finally. She comes to, and we see her start trying to run to the ship. And she's like, Barton, come in. Widow, come in. We have a problem. Thanos knows. Because she was able to see everything that was happening, right? She's like, Thanos knows. And she looks up. Right then, Thanos is right above her, and he sucks her up to his ship.
Okay.
We see Cap and Iron Man and Ant-Man. We see them. They all meet up back in New York, and they're all like, fuck. They're like, shit, we lost a stone. What do we do now? We had one shot. 6 or nothing. You ruined the time heist. And he's yelling at Ant-Man's yelling at Iron Man. You ruined it. He's like, it's not a time heist. He's like, that's why you ruined it. You never even wanted it to be a time heist. And it was. And he goes, is there any other options? They go, no, we have one particle left. That's it. And Iron Man thinks. And he goes, wait, I got it. He goes, what? He goes, I can find a place where maybe we can take the Tesseract and get some new Pym particles. He goes, what do you mean? He goes, a little stroll down memory lane, and Cap starts thinking. He goes, military installation. And they go, Garden State. And Ant-Man's like, what the fuck are y'all talking about? He goes, were they both there? He goes, yeah, I think they were. And they start thinking. He goes, all right, well, what are y'all talking about? He goes, well, what are we going to do? He's like, we'll have to improvise. And they go, all right, Scott, here, take this. And they give him the scepter. And Iron Man and Cap sync up. And they go, all right, we're going to go to this time. And they go, yeah, back in the 70s, right? He goes, yep. And he goes, you think this will work? And he goes, I hope so. And then Ant-Man's like, whoa, guys, if you do this and it doesn't work, you don't come back. You're stuck there. And Iron Man's like, thanks for the pep talk, pissant. And he looks at Cap. He goes, you trust me? Cap's like, I trust you. He's like, let's do it. Shing. They hit the buttons. They disappear. Ant-Man's like, what the fuck? New Jersey, 1970. We see Stan Lee driving by. It's the 70s, and he's got his hair out, and he's like, make love, not war. And that's his cameo. And they're on a military base, and they're looking around. They go, all right, imagine you're S.H.I.E.L.D., and you're running a quasi-synthetic intelligence organization. Where would you hide all this? And Cap goes, in plain sight. And they see this like big bunker, and then he uses his glasses to see what's in it, and it has this big underground facility. And they're like, it's definitely in there. So they get on the elevator, and they both separate. Iron Man goes looking through the facility, right? And he comes up. He has these dope glasses, and he comes up, and he's going through the basement, and he finds it. And he opens what he's looking for, and it's the Infinity Stone, the Tesseract, the one that can travel through space. Mm-hmm. It was there at this point because at the end of the first so this is going back to the first Captain America movie. Because in the first Captain America movie, they had the Tesseract there, and they didn't even know what to do with it. They didn't know what it was, so they just put it in the basement. So it's a crazy callback.
Yeah. No, I haven't seen all the movies they're referencing, but this is very cool to have a bunch of movies build up to a movie that goes into those movies.
It's really good writing, man.
Yeah.
And you see right then he puts the Infinity Stone in like a briefcase, and someone comes down. They go, hey, hello? Who's down here? Dr. Zola, you down here? And Iron Man turns. It's his dad. And he's like, he gets all nervous. And his dad's like, I know you? He's like, no, sir, I'm a visitor from MIT. He's like, you got a name? And he's like, Howard, which is his dad's name. He goes, Howard, really? He goes, yeah, Howard Potts. He goes, well, nice to meet you, Potts. I'm Howard Stark. He's like, nice to meet you. He goes, you look a little green around the gills, Pot. Everything all right? He goes, yeah, I'm fine. Just long hours. He's like, all right, come on, walk with me. Let's get some air, huh? He goes, yeah, thanks, Howard. And then they start walking off, and he goes, hey, you forgetting something? He almost forgot the briefcase because he's just like, it's his fucking dad. You know what I'm saying? Cut back to upstairs, we see Hank Pym, old Michael Douglas, but it's a young him, right? Okay. And he gets a call, and it's Captain America like prank calling him. He's like, hey, is this Hank Pym? He's like, yes. He goes, well, apparently, like you got a package out front, and then the people who delivered it, they opened it, and they're all turning bright yellow. I think it had something in it. He goes, oh, God. And you see him take off running, right? You see our boy Cap run up. He sees like 4 of the little Pym particle things, and he grabs them, okay? So back to Robert Downey talking to his dad, and his dad has flowers. And he's like, oh, what's the flowers for? He's like, oh, my wife's expecting. And Robert Downey's like, wow, how far along is she? He's like, actually, well, she's at the point where she can't stand the sound of my chewing. Let's say that. And he laughs. And he's like, I have a kid, you know. He goes, oh, you do, Potts? He goes, yep, I have a girl. He goes, I think that's better. He goes, why is that? He goes, I wish I had that so they'd be best like me. They'd be less like me. And Robert Downey goes, well, what's wrong with them being like you? Which is this is a crazy conversation because it's with your dad. It's like, right. Bro, this is crazy. He goes, let's just say, for me, the greater good has rarely outweighed my own self-interest.
Dang.
So,
oof,
bruh, Iron Man hears that and he takes it to the face like a punch.
Yeah.
You see Cap sneaking around hiding, and he sneaks in the office. And when he sneaks in the office, he looks at it on a desk, and he sees a picture of himself, but young, skinny himself, not Captain America himself. He's like, what the fuck? And he turns, and he realizes he's in the office of the woman he loves, Margaret Carter. And he looks through a window, and he can see her talking to someone else through the window, and he's still so in love with her. you know? And then you cut back to Tony, and he's talking to his dad. He goes, so where you at with names? And he says, like, I think we're going to call him, like, maybe Jebediah or something, right? And Tony's, maybe keep thinking about it. He goes, all right. And he goes, can I ask you a question, Potts? And he goes, yeah, of course. He goes, when your kid was born, you know, because this is my first one, were you nervous? Like, did you feel qualified? And Tony's like, I was terrified. But I thought about what my dad did. And then Howard's like, I mean, my dad, I mean, every time I think about him, I mean, there was no problem he didn't solve with a belt. And he goes, yeah, maybe. But and Tony goes, you know what? I used to think my dad was tough on me. But honestly, all I remember now is the good stuff. And the often pearl he would throw at me. And Howard goes, oh, like what? He goes, no amount of money never bought a moment of time. And Howard kind of like, smart man. Right? Because it's something he says. It's just something he says, which is like, bro, this is crazy, right? And he goes, man. Howard goes, you see Howard kind of like, oh, like kind of, you know, somebody like lets their guard down. He goes, you know, man, the kid isn't even here yet, honestly, and there's nothing I wouldn't do for him. Nothing. Good to meet you, Potts. And he goes out, shake his hand, and Tony just hugs him really hard. And the guy's like, and he goes, thank you for everything. And he's like, Potts? He goes, everything you've done for this country. And then the dad starts to walk away. And Tony turns around and he walks away and he looks at his driver and he goes, hey, Jarvis. And he goes, yes, sir. And Jarvis was just his dad's, was just this nigga in Tony's life.
Wow. Okay.
Like, bro, it was like, get the fuck out of here. Like, it's based off this nigga. Oh my God. And he goes, you ever met that guy? And he goes, we meet a lot of people, sir. I'm not sure. I like him. Cut back to Thanos' ship. Old Nebula is getting the shit beat out of her by the new Nebula. Mm-hmm. And new Nebula is like, you're weak. And she takes her bracelet off, right? And then right then Gamora walks up. And Nebula looks at her. Our Nebula. And goes, you can stop this. You know you want to. Did you see what happened? Did you see Thanos find the Soul Stone? You want to know how he does it? You want to know what he does to you? And then old Nebula kicks the shit out of her, right? She goes, shut up. And then she starts choking her, and she's like, you disgust me. But that doesn't mean you're useless. And she stops choking her. The new Nebula, what separates them is the new Nebula has like a little bit of gold, like in like her trim now, like on her head. And the other one's just all blue. Yeah. So the new Nebula, the old Nebula, takes the gold trim, right, and like pops it off her head and puts it on hers.
Oh.
And then she comes up to she comes up to Thanos and she gives him one of the Pym particles.
Yeah.
All right. And she has a gold trim in her head and she goes, how do I look, Father? And he just smiles. Vormir, 2014. You see Hawkeye and Black Widow get to that, the Soul Stone planet. Mm-hmm. And they're like, wow, under different circumstances, this would be totally awesome because it's beautiful, right? And they climb to the top of the mountain. And then when they get to the top, they're both so mad. And Black Widow's like, I bet you the raccoon didn't have to climb a goddamn mountain. And he goes, technically he's not a raccoon. And she goes, what? He goes, yeah, I actually looked it up. He's not a raccoon. And she goes, whatever. He eats garbage, doesn't he? And he goes, yeah, he does eat garbage. So we hear a voice. You hear, Natasha, daughter of Ivan. Clint, son of Edith. And they turn, and you see them start walking towards this shadow. And they go, who are you? And he goes, and you see that red nigga. Remember the Red Skull nigga?
Yeah.
A guide to you and all who seek the Soul Stone. And they go, just tell us where it is, and we'll be on our way. If only it was that easy. And you see them like walk to the edge, right? And they're all looking over the edge of the mountain, where Gamora died. Mm-hmm. And he goes, what you seek lies in front of you, as does what you fear. And they go, so the stone is down there? Yes, for one of you. In order to take the stone, you must lose that which you love. In everlasting exchange, a soul for a soul. Gets quiet. You can tell time's passing now because they're like sitting in different spots, and they're sitting there thinking. And Hawkeye gets annoyed, and he goes, "Man, he's making this shit up." And Black Widow's like, "No, he's not." She's, how do you know? And he goes, "No, he's not." And she goes, I really don't think he's making this up. And she goes, and Hawkeye's like, "Why? Because he knew your daddy's name?" And then Black Widow looks up at him. She goes, "I didn't."
Ooh.
And you see Hawkeye kind of go like, "Well, doesn't mean anything." And then she goes, "Look, Thanos left this place with the stone. He came with his daughter, and he left without her." And she puts her head down, and she goes, "Whatever it takes." And then he kind of puts his head up, and he's like, "Whatever it takes." She stands up. Bruh. She walks up to him, and she goes, "If we don't get that stone, billions stay dead." Hawkeye's like, "Then I guess we know who it has to be." And she's like, "I guess we do." And they hold each other's hands, and they stare at each other, and they keep staring, and then their eyes kind of both get big, and and then she goes, "I think we mean different people." And she goes, "Look, for 5 years, my whole life has just been to this, getting everyone back. I'm saving your life." And Hawkeye goes, "But I don't want you to. Natasha, you know what I've done. You know what I've become." And she goes, "Well, I don't judge people on their worst mistakes." He starts crying. He's like, "Maybe you should." And she goes, "Well, you didn't." And he's like, "Oh." And now they're both crying, bro. And he goes, "You're a pain in my ass. You know that?" Bro, this scene's crazy.
Yeah.
They touch heads on each other. And he leans back and he wipes his tears. He goes, "Okay, you win." And he smiles. And then he, boom, slams her hard as shit. Her head snaps back. And he goes, "Tell my family I love them." And he goes to run and she trips him, takes his body, flips him. And she goes, "Tell him yourself." And she gets up and she starts running. This nigga takes out an arrow. Fucking boom. As she's about to jump, it blows her to the right. So now she can't, like now she's falling over to the right. This nigga looks at her and in slow motion, he gets up. He takes running right past her and he jumps. And then you see her in slow motion jump from behind him. Grab this nigga. Fucking hit something on his back, like a claw, like a thing, right? And you know, like the Batman Gatling gun kind of thing, like when he shoots back up, and she shoots one of those, and it goes back up to the top, and it catches him, boom, and then she keeps falling, and she grabs her with one arm at the last second, right? And he's like, "Ah!" So now they're just hanging off the side of the mountain. So he's hanging like by his back, like and holding her like this, and he's like, "Ah, ah!" Right? And then she's like, "It's okay." And he's like, "Damn you." And he tries to pull her up and he's like, "Oh, God." And then he's like, I can't. And she goes, "It's okay." And he goes, wait. And she goes, "Let go." He goes, "No, please, no, please. And she's like, "It's okay." He's like, please. And she kicks off. "No!" And this bitch falls. "No!" And then you don't see her land, you just see him turn his head. Ah! And then it shows her back. Her body's like, bro, they show it. Crinkled up and just blood everywhere behind her.
Jeez.
And our boy Clint's like, "No!" Closes his eyes, fade to black. He opens his eyes again. He's back at the bottom under that pool, you know, where Thanos woke up, like with all the water.
Yeah.
And he raises up and he looks down in his hand and he has the soul stone. And he just starts crying. The camera fades back. This great shot of him on this beautiful planet by himself holding this beautiful stone.
I'm glad they really make you relive like one of the most painful parts of the last one.
They really go, hey, remember that?
But in a whole kind of worse way.
Yeah, let's make it worse because that one was just murder. This one was
this
suicide.
Is like, yeah.
You asked me if there was gonna be some of that.
Right. Yeah, this is that. Can I say what I think they should have done?
Yes.
They should have befriended the Red Skull guy.
No one's done that.
They should have just made friends with him, really gotten to know and love him.
And he'd have been like, yeah, you guys really don't have to give up your soul for a soul. And they're like, what? It's like, I tell people they have to do that, but like, I can just literally there's like thousands of these soul stones.
I was saying because you have to lose someone you love, so they just find a way to love this guy.
And
he's so lonely up there, you know?
Him?
Right?
Berner, you
think
just
that's
take
the
the
move.
time to befriend him.
Yeah.
And then you fucking kill him.
Yeah, and he's a Red Skull guy, so fuck him.
Fuck him. He's like an asshole, kind of.
Yeah, I mean his skull. He's a red skull. Gross.
He also seems like he kind of enjoys this whole soul for a soul thing.
Yeah.
You know why? Because he keeps saying it, and it's like I think you kind of like this.
Right. Yeah. He found a gig he was into that's really not helping anyone.
And it just kind of gets him off.
Yeah.
So cut to you see them all flying back through the quantum realm, right?
Is this an all right time to go to the bathroom?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll be right back.
I'm gonna use the restroom. Thank you.
We are back from a pee-poo break.
It was a good pee-poo.
Thanks, buddy. Me
Yeah.
too. Actually, I needed it as well. I'm glad you called for that. You were saying something in your life. You said you're liking this better right now than Infinity War?
Dude, I think so. Yeah. It's hard. I was thinking about it while I peed as well. It's hard to kind of separate them. I think Brian made this point about the Kill Bills.
Yeah.
Where it's you can't quite say you like one more than the other because without one you don't have the other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They are one. It's one long movie. They're not set. And this is one long movie with Infinity War. There is
really
no
long
separation.
movie, yeah.
And just like Kill Bill, it's really just one long movie.
Yeah.
Like it's thoroughly thought. You can tell they wrote it as one long movie and they split it up. Same as this. You can tell like, oh, they wrote this as one long thing and split it up. Infinity War and EndGame, and also these 30 other movies they had to pull from.
Right.
You ready?
Yeah.
We're back.
Let's go again.
So, cut to they're all flying back now through the quantum realm. They all got it. They got it done. All right. They land. Everyone's smiling. They're like, "Did we get them? We got them all." And they're like, "Yo, this worked." And everybody kind of cheers for a second, and then you see Clint just drop to his knees, and they look over and they're like, "Where's Nat? Where's Nat, Clint?" Just tears in his eyes, and he looks up, and they're all like, Cut to, they're all outside. And somebody's like, "Did she have any family?" And Cap goes, "Yeah, us." And then Thor's like, he's all pissed. He's like, what are we acting like she's dead? Why are we talking like this, like she's dead? We have the stones. We can bring her back. So stop the shit. Stop it. Get it together with the Avengers. And Clint goes, "It can't be undone. It can't." And he goes, "I'm sorry, sir, but you're a little Earth being, you know? We're talking about space magic, okay? You're talking about Earth reality. We're talking space magic, so maybe stay in your field." And he goes, "Yeah, look, I know I'm outside of my pay grade right now, but the guy said it can't be undone, all right? Or at least that's what the red floating guy said. So if you have a problem, you go talk to him. You grab your hammer, and you go talk to him. Because it was supposed to be me. She sacrificed her life for that goddamn stone. She put her life on it." And then Hulk grabs a bench and just goes, "Ah!" and throws it. And bro, it goes like 3 miles.
Right,
It goes like 3 miles. It's so funny. And it's so funny also to whoever's near that bench when it lands. Like, "Yo, what the fuck?"
Yeah, because it's probably not what caused it. Probably isn't your first guess.
No.
Yeah.
The Hulk threw this from like a different city.
And also why he threw it. Like there's a lot.
Yo,
Yeah.
he's going through something. And then they go, "We have to make it up to her. We have to." And Tony goes, "We will." So we see Iron Man, and he's making this cool glove, right? And he puts all the stones on it, and he's like real careful. And it's like a cool, like Iron Man. You know how Thanos' gauntlet is gold? Mm-hmm. This is like a red one, like an Iron Man one. You know what I'm saying? And the stones like do this cool thing where they like kind of magnetize and go to like where they're supposed to go, like on their own. And then they're all like, and then it goes into the glove, and then Rocket goes, boom! And they all go, "Ah, God damn it!" And he just starts laughing. And they stand around it, and they go, "All right, who's going to snap their fingers?" And Thor's like, "I'll do it." And they go, whoa. He goes, "No, I'll do it." And he goes, "Let's have a discussion first." He goes, "I'm the strongest Avenger. This is falling upon me." And they go, No, stop. And he goes like, "No, please." And he starts crying. He's like, "Please, just let me do it. I need to do something right." And they're like, you're in no condition for this, buddy. Please, sit down." And then Hulk goes, "It's got to be me." You guys saw what it did to Thanos. It almost killed him. None of you could survive it. And they go, how do we know you will? We don't. But the radiation's mostly gamma. It's like I was made for this. Cut to, as this is happening, you see Nebula sneak away.
Right.
Why would she be doing all sneaky sneaks?
He has some Hateful Eight stuff a little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah.
She goes back to the machine where they traveled through the quantum realm, because now they're all standing by the glove. Nobody's watching the machine that can travel. You know what I mean? Hulk, he goes back to Hulk. He goes, all right, let's do this. Iron Man looks at him. He goes, hey, remember, everyone who Thanos snapped away, that's it. You bring them back to today, but that's it. Nothing changes from the past 5 years. You got that? He's like, got it. Like, all right. They all like put their fucking shields on, like suit back up, you know what I mean? And like put their suits on and shit because they like brace up because they don't know what's going to happen. And then Iron Man goes, Friday, activate barn door protocol. And you see like the whole facility like like metal, like, you know what I mean, goes around it like a dome. And so Hulk goes, everyone comes home. And he puts his hand in the glove, and it's like the machine, like the glove, because it's like a small glove that would fit Iron Man, but it like right when he touches it, it goes like opens up, like it becomes like size for the Hulk.
Yeah.
And it like goes around his fucking arm, and the power starts surging through him, and bro, his arm starts burning like a crisp, which is why remember you saw Thanos, he was half burnt. It's like you see it, it's like it's just too much power. It's like and they go, Bruce, you all right? He goes, yeah, I'm okay. You see bad Nebula opens up the gateway to the quantum realm, and you see Thanos' ship travel through it and then bust through the fucking machine and then bust through the roof. This gigantic Thanos ship. It's humongous, right? But they don't know what's going on because they're like a couple floors down dealing with the fucking gauntlet thing.
Right.
Hulk holds up his arm. Snaps. The gauntlet falls off his arm, right? Iron Man like ices like all the burning sensation. And he's like, did it work? Did it work? You see the fucking shields all go off the building, like the barn door protocol goes off, so like all the windows open back up. And you see Ant-Man slowly walk outside, and he looks out, and it's like beautiful, right? You see like more birds, you know? And then right then, Clint, Hawkeye, gets a call. He looks down. It's his wife. Honey? Clint? Honey? Right then, Ant-Man goes, guys, I think it. Boom! The whole facility. Boom, boom. You see Thanos, he's just fucking raining down missiles, bro. Boom, 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 boom. Blows the whole thing to hell. Whole facility's destroyed. Okay? You see the camera pan down through all the rubble. You see Rhodey, his armor's all broken. And he's like, canopy. And he like shoots out of his armor, right? He gets out. You see Rocket's like, I can't breathe. He's like got like built like a fucking bunch of concrete on him. I can't breathe. Rhodey fucking like helps him get out. The Hulk fucking catches a bunch of other falling rocks. He goes, get out of here. And then they can't. And water starts coming in. They're like, we're drowning. Help. Someone help. Right? Cut to, you see Ant-Man. He's like, the reason he survived because he made himself little. Mm-hmm. And he's like real little, and he hears it. And they go, we're drowning, help. And he goes, I can help. I'm alive. I can help. Cut to, you see Hawkeye. He's way down below, right? And he gets up and he's like, Cap, anybody? Doesn't hear anybody. He starts walking. He sees the stones on that little gauntlet, and he grabs it. And when he grabs it, he hears something. And he turns. You hear. It's dark. Takes out an arrow, and it's like a lighted arrow, and he shoots it down like the hallway. And when it goes through, you see, remember all those monsters they fought in the end of Infinity War? In the big war? The monsters that fight for Thanos.
Yeah.
It's all them. Just thousands of them in the hallway. He takes off running, all right, holding the gauntlet, right? Back up top, we see Thanos' ship, and you see that light, beam of light transport, and you see Thanos comes down, full fucking armor and gear, right? Mm-hmm. His daughter, Nebula, walks up, the bad one, and she goes, Father. She goes, the deed is done, Father. And he goes, so this is the future. Well done. Thank you, Father. They suspecting nothing. The arrogant never do. Bro, this nigga's so cocky, fool.
Well, I mean, why would you expect that?
Yeah, right? Yeah, he's such a cocky asshole. Go, find the stones. Bring them to me. And he puts his sword down. And he puts his helmet on top of it. And he just takes a seat. And she goes, what will you do? Wait. Best villain of all time. Best villain of all motherfucking time.
Boat.
So you see Gamora watching from upstairs, right? And then like from the ship. And she's and our, good Nebula is on the ship with Gamora. Still.
Okay. Yeah.
And Gamora comes over and she goes, tell me something. In the future, what happens between you and me? Nebula looks up and she goes, I try to kill you several times. And Gamora's like, oh. And she goes, but eventually, we become friends. Then, sisters. And Gamora's like, and she walks over and she helps her up. Let's stop him. Cut back to Iron Man finds Cap, right? And he goes, Cap, wake up. You see Cap. He wakes up. He goes, that's my man. Good job. And he hands him his shield back and he goes, lose this again, I'm keeping it. He goes, what happened? And then Iron Man goes, you mess with time, it messes back. They stand up. They walk outside. They find Thor. Bro, this is the best part of it. This is when the movie, here we go, y'all. Thor's looking down. And they go, it's just a great shot of the three of them like on top of this building looking down onto the ground. And they see Thanos just sitting there below looking up at them. And Thor goes, bro, fire. Iron Man goes, what's he been doing? And Thor goes, absolutely nothing. Iron Man goes, where are the stones? And Cap's like, somewhere under all this. But he doesn't have them. Iron Man's like, so we keep it that way. And Thor goes, it's probably a trap. And then Iron Man goes, yeah, I don't care. And Thor goes, good. As long as we're all in agreement. And both his hands go up, fucking axe hammer, fucking lightning, bro, right? And then they all, you see them all kind of like suit up. Iron Man shit comes on, and Thor goes, let's kill him properly this time. They walk down. You see them walking down right towards him, bro. Thanos goes, you couldn't live with your own failure. And where did that bring you? Back to me. Bar!
Yeah.
You couldn't live with your own failure. And where did it bring you anyway? Right back to the same situation. I thought by eliminating half of life, the other half would thrive. But you've shown me that's impossible. As long as there are those who remember what was, there are those who are unable to accept what can be. They will resist. And Iron Man goes, yep, we're all kinds of stubborn, man. And he goes, I'm thankful because now I know what I must do. And he stands up, puts his helmet on. I will shred this universe down to its last atom. Then with the stones you've collected for me, create a new one, teeming with life. And not what it's lost, but what it's been given. A grateful universe. And Cap goes, born out of blood. They will never know. Because you won't be alive to tell them. They all start, boom, they start fighting, bro. Ding, ding, just 3-on-1. Hands being thrown, you know what I mean? Cut back to, we see Rhodey and Rocky are about to drown. He's like, all right, I guess this is it, little buddy. And Hulk's like, look, look. Right then, bro, you see Ant-Man go, I'm coming. Like he's sliding, like the little Ant-Man, he's just like jumping from shit to shit. Mm-hmm. You see back to Hawkeye, he's still running from the monsters all hot on his ass. He finally gets away from him. He lays down and he breathes for a second. He's like, Nebula walks up. He's like, oh, hey, I know you. And he hands her the gauntlet. She goes, Father, I have the stones. And he goes, what? Like, just like that, too. And then she pulls out a gun and she's about to kill him. And you hear, stop. And it's Gamora and our Nebula. And they go, you don't have to do this. And she points the gun at them and she goes, I am this. And she goes, no, you're not. You've seen what we become. You can change. And the old Nebula's like, he won't let me. And then she goes to kill Gamora, and new Nebula, bam, has to kill herself. And Hawkeye just grabs the gauntlet from her and is like, oh my God. Like, he's like, yo, what the fuck is going on? Right. You know what I mean? Cut to, we see Iron Man. Bro, they're fighting Thanos and him. He out of his back comes like this huge like port, right, out of his suit. And he goes, Thor, hit me. And Thor goes with the lightning and then like into his back. And like he shoots out of his, bro, it's so dope. He like charges him up and he shoots out of his chest and he hits Thanos.
Like Dragon Ball or something.
Like, bro, kind of like that. And you see Thanos gets away and he grabs him and he throws fucking Iron Man. And then he starts fighting Thor. And Thor tries to throw his hammer at him. And he fucking he uses Iron Man to like, boom. He uses like Iron Man to deflect the hammer. So the hammer goes flying in Iron Man, right? Iron Man's knocked out. You see Cap come up. Now he tries to throw one-on-one hands with him. And they're going back and forth. And he grabs Cap and he throws him down hard as shit, bro. And fucking bam, fucks him up. So Cap's knocked out. Then he comes back and bro, it's just like the first movie where it's like, oh, they have nothing for this nigga.
Yeah, this guy's pretty good at this fighting stuff. Thor
comes up. He tries to fight one-on-one again. He starts fucking Thor up again, right? Bam, bam, knee to the face. Bam. Thor calls for his axe. Thanos catches that bitch. And then Thanos starts to like swings it for his chest. Thor grabs it and he starts pushing it down. And it starts almost going through his chest. And you're like, oh no. And then, bro, from the far away, you see the hammer lift in the air. And you're like, what the fuck? And then the hammer, boom, hits Thanos, right? And knocks him off. And Thanos sees it. And it goes like this, and then the hammer, dun, 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 it flies, catches it. It's fucking Captain America with the hammer, bro. Ah! Bro, I've never seen a theater react crazier in my life. You see Captain America with the hammer, and Thor is like, I knew it. Because remember back in the day, they all tried to pick the hammer up in Avengers 2, Age of Ultron.
Right.
And remember, Cap picked it up, and it moved. And Thor gets nervous, and then Cap goes, I can't do it. He could do it.
What a nice guy. Holy shit. Wow.
Bro, by far. So this was, as far as theater reaction goes, this is the best movie I've ever seen, right? So that reaction was the craziest reaction I've ever seen in a theater in my life.
Yeah.
I mean, bro, you couldn't hear anything. Bro, you see Cap with the hammer, bro, and then Cap starts running at Thor and starts doing the swinging thing. Bro, I remember people were like stomping, dog. Yeah. You know what I mean? And he comes up, bam, he uppercuts him with the hammer. Then grabs the shield, throws it in the air, uses the hammer, bam, hits him, hits the shield into this nigga with the hammer. Then starts fucking Thanos up, bro, with the hammer, giving him the business, dog. Then Thanos finally stops him and starts giving him back the business. And he makes him throw the hammer down, and then he grabs his sword, and like Cap puts his shield up, and Thanos breaks through his shield. That's how hard he hits this nigga with his sword. And then fucks the shield up, and then throws Cap like a mile back. And Cap's like, he's just laying there defeated.
Dude, two big weapon reveals in one,
Unreal, right? You hear, in all my years of conquest and violence and slaughter, it was never personal. But I'll tell you now, what I'm about to do to your stubborn, annoying little planet, I'm going to enjoy it very, very much. Right then, you see Thanos' full army drop down from the sky, bigger than the army from Infinity War. All his generals come down. Bro, it's so many people. Cap looks up. He's on the ground. He sees this. He drops his head. It's just him. Iron Man's knocked out. Thor's fucked up. He gets up real slow. He looks at Thanos. He looks down at his shield's broken in half. And he goes, he tightens it up. Like, bro, and Thanos is like, what the fuck? And then this nigga starts walking toward, like, it's just Cap versus an army. And he's like, let's go. Bro, the theater was like, because it's like, yo, this is that dude, bro. He's just walking at him like, what's he gonna do? He's by himself. Bro, okay? He's walking towards him. He hears something. Cap, you hear me? Cap, it's Sam. You hear me? On your left. The callbacks, dude. The callbacks. Theater goes fucking crazy because on his left, a portal opens. And out of that motherfucker, you see Black Panther walk out. Theater, bro. Yeah! The back to, because it's like they set it up where it was like, I'm too much. This happening. Bruh. You see, they walk out with Shuri and his general, and it's second best theater reaction I've ever seen in my life. Then behind that portal, a million other portals open. Sam flies out. Doctor Strange comes out, and they set it up so each one can get a reaction, right? Yeah. Sam comes out, oh, Doctor Strange, oh! Out of the Doctor Strange portal, you see all the Guardians come out. First Drax, then fucking Girl, then fucking Groot, then Quill, then behind Quill, you see somebody swinging. Spider-Man fucking lands, and then the helmet comes off. People were standing up, bro, in the theater. And you hear Black Panther go, E-Bombay! The whole army of Black Panther army behind him. E-Bombay! 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 You see a whole army. We see the Winter Soldier. We see Wanda. We see Wong. We see like all the Doctor Strange people. We see the Wasp come out. You know what I'm saying? The fucking Thor. He grabs his axe. He smiles. You see Iron Man get up. He suits up. You see Pepper Potts come out in the suit that he said he built for in the beginning of the movie.
Dude.
Ant-Man.
This is a lot.
You see Ant-Man grow huge, and out of the rubble, like he holds up his hand, and you see Rhodey, the Hulk, and Rocket jump out. So everyone's like, yeah! Like they're all chanting, right? And Cap looks back, and he looks at everybody. It's a whole, army of everyone from Marvel that's ever been in it so far that's still alive. Right. And he goes, Avengers! And then he catches the hammer. Assemble. And they all fucking start running, and bro, full head on running at each other. Bro, insane. You hear the fucking Marvel music blasting, nigga, and an all-out battle starts. We see M'Baku slam somebody. We see Drax stab a nigga. You see Thor and Cap fighting together, right? And they're beating the shit out of people. And then at some point, Cap has the axe and Thor has the hammer, and then Thor stops all the fighting and goes, give me that. You take the little one. And then you see, bruh, a monster is about to hit Iron Man, right? When these big monsters about to hit Iron Man, Spider-Man comes up, shink, swings him and throws that nigga. And he goes, yo! And he comes up, he goes, Iron Man! And Iron Man helmet comes off and he's just looking at him. And he goes, you won't believe this. Remember when I got all dusty back on that one planet when we lost to Thanos? Well, literally, I go dusty, I wake up, Doctor Strange is there. And I go, what are you doing, Doctor Strange? And he's like, we need us. We're having a big war and Iron Man needs us right now. And then he does that sparkly thing that he does, and Iron Man just fucking hugs him. And he goes, oh, this is really nice. And then we see Quill, and he's fighting his ass off, fool. Right? And someone saves him. And he looks up. It's Gamora.
Okay. Oh, right.
And he's like, and he walks up slow, and she's kind of looking at him. And he goes, Gamora? I thought I lost you. And he touches her face. And then she goes, like breaks this nigga's wrist. He's like, ah! And then she knees him in the nuts, right? And he goes, why? And then Nebula goes, that's him. And she goes, are you serious? This is the one you were talking about? And she goes, your choices were him or a tree. And she's like, oh God, right? Cut back. Yeah. We see Hawkeye. He's running with the gauntlet. And he's like, yo, guys, what do you want me to do with this thing? And they go, we have to get them back where they came from. You know, they go, well, yeah, but Thanos destroyed the tunnel. And Ant-Man goes, that's not the only time machine we got. And he hits the button for the van. You hear, which is like his little noise for his van. And they go, where's it parked? And they go, you're not going to like it. And it's parked like on the other side of Thanos' army. And Ant-Man goes, well, look, just give me 10 minutes to get it working, and I'll get it started. And then he goes, and they go, all right, you do that, we'll get the stones to you. And then you see Wasp goes, we're on it, Cap. And Ant-Man looks at her, and he smiles so hard, which was very funny because in the Ant-Man 2, which was Ant-Man and the Wasp, she makes fun of him the whole time because of how much he loves Cap. So to see her say, we're on it, Cap, he's like, it's like everything he's ever wanted. So Iron Man comes up, right, as all the fighting's going on, he comes up to Doctor Strange. He goes, hey, you said 1 out of 14 million, we're going to win this. Is this it? Tell me this is it. He goes, I tell you what happened, then it won't happen. Iron Man's like, you better be right. You see Ant-Man and the Wasp, they're in the car, they're getting that bitch going, right? You see Clint running with the gauntlet, and Black Panther comes up to him. He goes, Clint, give it to me. And he gives it, bro, this is one of the best scenes. He gives it to him, and it's just Black Panther running, like, to the van, and it's the most dope shit you've ever seen. Because it's like how he has to get there, and he's just fighting as he's running, and he's so fast. You know what I'm saying?
He's just parkouring off of the war.
Bro, it's crazy, and he's beating niggas up. Finally, Thanos throws the sword and knocks it out of his hand, right? He goes to grab it. Right when he goes to grab the gauntlet, Thanos, Wanda drops down, and she goes, Scarlet Witch. She goes, you took everything from me. And Thanos goes, I don't even know who you are. Which is unbelievable, bro. Because this Thanos wouldn't know who she is.
Right.
He genuinely is like, I don't know who you are. And then she goes, well, you will. And then she starts giving Thanos the business. Like, Scarlet Witch is crazy powerful, bro.
Right.
Crazy powerful, bro. I can't wait to tell you Doctor Strange 2. That'll be fun. So Black Panther is like she's giving him the business, right? And Black Panther, you see him like finally he grabs the gauntlet and he tosses it up to Spider-Man, and Spider-Man grabs it and he goes, he has the Iron Man suit, he has his like Spider-Man Iron Man suit on that he got from Infinity War. Right. And he's like, activate instant kill, which is a mode he has in his suit where it can just kill everyone instantly. It's fire. And he's like, bro, his suit just starts killing everyone for him. It's just crazy. And you see Wanda, she gets a hold of Thanos and she starts like, she gets him wrapped up like in her clutches and she starts crushing him. And he's like, and he goes, rain fire. And they go, sire, our troops. He goes, just do it. And then the ship just starts blasting down and killing everyone, even his own people. But it like fucks up Wanda. You know what I mean? So he's able to get out of it, right? Spider-Man, you see Spider-Man yelling for help. And then he goes, heads up, Queens. And Cap throws his hammer. And Spider-Man like chink, like catches, like links up with the hammer. And it just goes flying through the air so he can get closer to the van, right? As he's flying through the air, other people start grabbing, like Pepper Potts grabs him and throws him to the Valkyrie lady. The Valkyrie lady grabs Spider-Man and throws him. And he's like, it's so nice to meet all you guys. I'm sorry I don't know any of you, you know? And then finally they get blasted back and it all stops. And then right then, the ship stops shooting down at them and all the guns point up to the sky and start shooting at something else. And they go, something's entered the atmosphere. And Iron Man's like, what is it? And you see a streak of light coming through the sky. And it goes through the strip and destroys it. It's Captain Marvel.
Okay. Yeah.
And Rocket's like, yeah, baby, right? So Ant-Man, he gets the truck finally going, and Captain Marvel drops down by Spider-Man, and he's all fucked up. He's like, hi, I'm Peter Parker. She goes, hi, Peter Parker. I'm Carol. And he gives her the glove. This is the worst part of the movie. He gives her the glove, and she turns, and there's still like a little bit of an army between her and the van.
Yeah.
And he goes, how are you going to get through all that? And she goes, don't worry. And then Scarlet Witch lands and goes, she's got help. And then the black lady from Black Panther lands. And then all the women come together.
Okay. Girls can save the world too.
But they're in the middle of this battle.
Right.
They had in the time in the middle of this battle to do a girl power moment.
Pussies assemble.
Also, how did they all know that? Like, oh, this is the part of the fight where all the girls need to link up.
Yeah, that's
to show the boys how we do it. Insane that they like. I remember being in the theater.
So funny if like Cher came on or something.
Yo,
in the scene.
You remember when I told you how everyone in the theater were standing up pretty much when Spider-Man entered, like because all the reactions were so good.
Yeah.
This is the moment where everybody sat back down. All the women assembled and everybody was like, we'll just wait for the next cool moment. I'm sure there's another one coming. Because it was like, I don't know who this is for. It's like all the women who are here watching this don't need this either. They already like
Right.
All the like.
Also, the women characters are already in it, and there was no doubt in anyone's mind
That women could get this done.
Right. Yeah.
There was no doubt in anyone's mind that
Right.
women could get this done. It really makes you. It's like the women, right, or whoever does this. Like, why does everyone just hate women this much?
Right. Yeah. It's like, who are you showing what here?
yeah, dude. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And then for the actors to go into the, you know, it's great because like I've seen actors like the women talk about like, oh, that was just the best part of the movie, and it's like, you believe that? you believe that this was the best part of the? You watched the whole movie when you watched it, and you were like, oh, I can't wait for that part where we all the girls link up. And it's like, well, what do you think a movie is?
Right. Yeah.
There is no movie where all the boys link up. And I'm sure she's like, oh, well, usually I've seen a movie. And she'll like, and you can name a movies where like guys link up.
Right.
But it's like, yeah, but
it's never like because they're guys.
yeah. Was it because they, you know, the whole movie had been working together and then finally they all linked up? Or was it, or did they say, you know, he's not alone? Because also you implied it, which is even more annoying to me. That she's not, she's not alone. Well, no shit, she's not alone. We're all here fighting with each other.
Every superhero, literally every single one except
Black Widow is here fighting this right now.
Yeah. So yeah, we know.
God, it made me so mad. And then obviously, like they kick ass, and I wish, you know what would have been great if they did assemble and they got their ass kicked. If all the women,
need men.
we need men, please, God, men, help.
we're the weaker sex, please.
Yo, after all the women assembled, they should have got their ass kicked. That would have been such a dope moment of like, oh damn, this is a real war. So Captain Marvel gets the gauntlet all the way across, and she's about to get it to the truck. And she's literally about to get into the truck, into the quantum realm where they got it all going. Mm-hmm. Thanos throws his sword at the last second. It goes right into the truck and explodes, blows it up. All right? Mm-hmm. Knocks Captain Marvel way back. The glove falls. He goes for the glove. Iron Man grabs it. He throws him back. Right? Thor tries to like come up and stop him. Cap jumps on his back. They try to like cut his head off, right? They try to like they have the axe at his throat and they're about to like get it off. And then, bro, body slams one nigga, knocks Cap the fuck out, grabs the gauntlet. Then you see he puts it on. Captain Marvel flies up. She's strong as shit, bro. So she starts giving him the business even though he has the glove on, right? That's how strong she is. You see, like she starts overpowering him for a second. He literally grabs the power stone out from the glove, and then you see his hand like power up, knocks this bitch out, right?
Yeah.
And when he does, Iron Man looks over at Doctor Strange, and Doctor Strange just goes, just holds up the number 1. Iron Man nods. You see Thanos put the purple stone back in the glove. He goes to like snap. Iron Man runs over, boom, grabs the glove. Him and Thanos start tussling back and forth. He like, bam, he lets Thanos knock him the fuck back, right? He lands. He looks up. Thanos looks over at him. And he goes, I am inevitable. Nothing happens. The stones are gone. You see Iron Man roll up. He holds up his hand. Remember how I said he made a glove where all the stones kind of magnetized to him?
Yeah.
He had the same shit on his, bro. All the stones you see going up his arm, magnetizing to his shit, right? And all the power going through him. And Thanos can't believe it. And he's looking at him, and all the power is surging. And I am Iron Man. You see all of Thanos' army slowly fade into dust. Bro, the callback. Because you know at the end of the first Iron Man movie, the last words, what does he say, Bern?
I am Iron Man. Yeah.
Unreal, dude. So you see all the Thanos army destroying it, like going to dust. Thanos is looking around. He can't believe it. He limps over, like through his army, just kind of evaporating behind him. He sits, takes a breath, puts his head down, fades away. You see Iron Man like stumbling for a second, and then he falls. Half his suit completely burnt, half his face, everything. He's just like fucked up. Rhodey flies over, right? And he grabs his friend And then Spider-Man swings over. He's like, Mr. Stark? Mr. Stark! Mr. Stark, you hear me? We won. It's Peter. Mr. Stark, we won. You did it, sir. Mr. Stark! Mr. Stark! And then Rhodey's like, I'm sorry, Tony. And then you see Pepper have to like, which is crazy. This is so funny to me that like it's his wife, and she has to be like, hey guys, like,
Right.
move.
Right. Yeah,
I get he meant a lot to y'all, but like, can I have this moment?
Right.
And she pushes him all aside. And she goes, he's like, hey, Pep. And then she's like, Friday, life function. And then she's like, life function, critical. Tony, look at me. Look at me. We're going to be okay. You can rest now. And he smiles. And his light on his chest goes out. Everyone. You see Cap, Thor, all them niggas. Just everybody. They all drop, bro.
Right.
They start bawling. Fade to black.
Ooh. Feelings.
Bruh, right?
Yeah.
I was bawling like a baby, bro. The whole theater.
Yeah.
Just crying their eyes out. It was
Well,
crazy.
he's where it starts.
He is it.
Yeah.
Bro, rewatching the movie, Burn, I saw him come up on screen right in the beginning of the movie, and I was like, oh, yeah, this is like why these movies aren't good anymore. It's crazy. It's like, oh, you need him. You need this. This guy's really important.
Dude, he kills it every single time.
Bro, he makes you believe it.
Yeah.
He really makes you believe that this world is real, and there's a man in a metal suit who can do it all, dog.
Yeah.
You believe it. It's crazy.
He's Iron Man, yeah.
Cut 2, they're at Hawkeye's house. Clint sees his family finally. They run up, they hug him. You see Spider-Man, he's back in school. Everyone's there, like all the old students, and everyone's celebrating, and he's walking through, and he's like fucked up. He sees his boy Ned, his best friend.
Mm-hmm.
All right? Remember in the Infinity War when he asked somebody, like, cause a distraction?
Yeah,
On the
on the bus,
that's
yeah,
Ned. I haven't told you any of the Spider-Man movies, and then, of course, Spider-Man. The newest Spider-Man is also the only movie rivaling Infinity War in this. So the best 3 Marvel movies, and it's not close. Like, you ask anyone, and successfully wise, too, like how much money they made. Mm-hmm. These 2, and then the new Spider-Man. The new Spider-Man movie, Spider-Man No Way Home, made just as much money as these. Like, it's how big it was by itself.
Okay. Because
it's so fucking good. So you see Ned crying, and they just hug each other, right? And you hear a Tony voiceover as they show everyone, like, with their families, like, a happy ending. And you hear, this is what everyone wants, you know? A happy ending. But it doesn't always roll that way. I'm hoping you guys play this back in celebration. I hope families are reunited and we get back, you know, to what it was. And the planet is restored, if there ever was such a thing, I guess. You know, if you told me 10 years ago we weren't alone on this planet, if we weren't alone in this galaxy, I would have believed you. But, you know, who knew how big it really was? And for better or worse, Morgan will have to grow up in this reality, knowing that everything exists out there, you know? So I did record this in case my untimely death. You know, this time travel thing. And you see, like, he's in a room, and it's like a will reading type situation. Like, all the Avengers are there, and his daughter's there, and his Pepper's there, and they're all watching this video that he made, you know? And he goes, you know, this time travel thing has me scratching my head. And, I mean, then again, you know, that's the hero gig, right? Part of the journey is the end. So why am I worrying? Everything's going to work out exactly how it's supposed to. And he gets up and he goes to cut off the camera, and he looks right in the camera's eyes and he goes, I love you 3000. And he cuts it off. And his daughter's like, bruh, oh my God, they get you, bro. Yeah. They just fuck you up. And cut to the funeral, right? You see, like, them putting his iron heart, like the thing, it says proof that Tony actually has a heart. Right. And they push it out to water. And the camera pans back, and you see everybody. You see Pepper and his daughter. You see Rhodey and Happy. You see Cap and Spider-Man, his aunt, the Hulk, Thor, Doctor Strange, Wong, all the Ant-Man people, like Hank Pym, Watt. You see everybody. You see all the Guardians, they all came. Mm-hmm. All the Black Panther people came. Hawkeye and his whole family came. Wanda, Bucky, Sam. You see this young kid who was actually the little kid from Iron Man 3. He's there, and he's older. You see Carol Danvers, and then at the end, at the very back of the funeral, you see Nick Fury. Only shot he's in the movie.
Okay, yeah.
All right. So you see Hawkeye and Wanda, and they're talking afterwards, right? And he's talking about Black Widow, and he goes, God, I wish there was a way to let her know that we won. you know that we did it. And Wanda's like, she knows. They both do. Which is like, hey, nobody cares about Vision anymore. You know? Like, nobody talks about Vision. Like, we're not talking about Vision. I wish you'd have said, like, hey, it's not about Vision right now. It's not. It's not about Vision right now. So fucking chill.
We've had time to get over Vision.
We had time to get. We had plenty of time to get over Vision. This bitch just died. Iron Man's fucking heart is floating in the river right there. Chill. Chill, bitch.
Yeah, I literally forgot about Vision until you were talking.
Yeah, no, okay, yeah, like relax. It's over. He died. He ripped his fucking head off. Remember? Like it's over. When he ripped his fucking brain off. So you see Happy talking to the daughter, talking to Morgan Stark, and he goes, "You hungry, Squirt?" And she goes, "Mm-hmm." He goes, "What do you want to eat?" And she goes, "Cheeseburgers." And he goes, "You know your dad liked cheeseburgers. I'm gonna get you all the cheeseburgers you want." And the first Iron Man, right when he gets rescued, Happy goes, "Oh my God, we're so glad to have you back, sir. What do you want?" He goes, "I need a cheeseburger." And then he goes into the meeting and he's eating a cheeseburger.
Right. I remember that. That was I think it was product placement, but they did a
Burger
good
King.
job. Yeah.
Great callback though.
Yeah.
But it was definitely just Burger King product
Yeah.
placement at the time.
I mean, if Burger King got placed in right here as well,
Then it had been way less. This would have meant way less. So Thor goes back to New Asgard and he talks to Valkyrie. And she asks, when is he coming back? And he goes, about that. And she goes, what do you mean about that? The people need the king. And he goes, they already have one. And she laughs. She's like, yeah. She's like, you serious? She goes, it's time. He goes, it's time for me to be who I am rather than who I think I'm supposed to be. You're a leader. That's who you are. She goes, all right, well, I'm going to make some changes around here. He goes, I'm counting on it. Your Majesty. And she goes, well, what will you do? He goes, I don't know. I have no path, but I have a ride. And he looks over. The Guardians are there.
right, yeah.
So, the last Thor movie he's teamed up with.
Right.
This is how they set that up. And he goes in, he goes, here we are. He goes, Tree, good to see you again. And you see Quill looking for Gamora, and then he kind of moves it away, like the search thing that he had up. And then he goes, and Thor grabs Quill, and he goes, the Asgardians of the galaxy, back together again. Where to first? And he starts going over the map, and then Quill goes, yo, hey, man, just heads up. This is my ship. I'm in charge. And he goes, of course, you're in charge. And he goes, and he starts touching the map again. And Quill goes, hey, you see right there, you touching the map and the way you're saying it makes me think that you think you're actually in charge when I'm telling you right now that I am in charge. Quill, that sounds like your own insecurities. You are in charge. And then he goes, yeah, I know I'm in charge. And then Drax goes, why don't you both fight for the honor of leadership? And Nebula goes, yeah, that sounds fair to me. And everyone's like, yeah, that is fair. And Thor's like, well. And Quill's like, it's not necessary. It's not necessary that we fight. And Thor goes, that's right. It's not necessary. And then one girl goes like, we could use Rocket. And Rocket, the girl goes, why don't you guys use knives to fight? And Rocket goes, yeah, I have a bunch of knives. We could use knives and just let you guys fight. And whoever wins, that's the leader. And they all kind of laugh. And Thor goes, no one's knifing anyone. Everyone knows who's in charge, right, Quill? And Quill's like, yeah, me. Yes, you. And they're just staring at each other, bro. Cut to, we see Bruce Banner giving all the stones to Cap. Remember, because they got to return them. Mm-hmm. And he's standing on a new platform they made. And he says, they're like, yo, make sure you return these exactly where they were, or else we're going to have a whole shitload of branches of reality to deal with. And he's like, cut the branches. Got it. And then Sam's like, you sure you don't want me to come with you to help? He goes, no, I got it. But you're a good man, Sam. And he walks up to Bucky. And Bucky's like, hey, don't do anything stupid. He goes, Bucky, don't do anything stupid till I'm back. And Bucky's like, how can I? You're taking all the stupid with you. He's like, it's going to be okay, Buck, I promise. And then Bucky kind of goes like, what? Mm-hmm. Cap walks on the platform, and they go, how long is this going to take? And they go, for him, as long as he needs. For us, 5 seconds. You ready, Cap? Cap goes, ready. They go, meet you back here in a sec. He goes, you bet. Going quantum in 3, 2, 1. Hits the button. Cap's gone. They go, all right, returning in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hit the button. Nothing. Hit it again. Nothing. Where is he? They go, I don't know. He blew past his timestamp. This doesn't make sense. And then Sam's like, well, get him the hell back. And he's like, I'm trying, Sam. And then right then Bucky looks to his right and he goes, hey. And they see a man sitting on a bench, like over to the right of them. And they walk up and Bucky's smiling and he goes, and he looks at Sam and he goes, go ahead. And you see Sam walk up and he goes, Cap? And Cap looks over and he's like 90 years old. Hey, Sam. And he's like, Sam's like, did something go wrong or did something go right? He goes, well, after I put the stones back, I thought maybe I'll try some of that life Tony was always talking about, telling me to get. And Sam's like, well, how did that work out for you? It was beautiful. Good. I'm happy for you, Cap. Truly. Only thing bumming me out is now I got to live in a world without Captain America. And he goes, oh, that reminds me. He pulls a bag out and he pulls out the shield. Try it on. How does it feel? Sam grabs it and he's like, feels like someone else's. It isn't. Thank you, Cap. I'll do my best. That's why it's yours. He looks down. He notices he has a wedding ring on. He's like, you want to tell me about her? And Cap goes. He smiles. He leans back. No. You're right? And it's quiet. And he's like, I don't think I will tell you. Cut to, you hear that old jazz song that always plays when you hear Cap. They always play this jazz song when like Cap shows up, right?
Okay, yeah.
And you see a old, like a cute little house, and a camera zooms in, and it's the 70s. And you see a young Captain America dancing with the woman he loves. And they kiss. Avengers EndGame.
Jeez Louise.
What do you think, buddy?
That was really good.
It's really fucking good.
They did a good job.
Hey, Marvel.
Good job as well.
Good job. Did I do a good job?
Yeah.
My man.
Yeah.
300th.
You made me feel.
Who was your favorite character in this one?
Favorite character? I don't know. Probably Captain America.
Cap?
Yeah.
Fat Thor, man. I love me some Fat Thor.
Oh, Fat Thor is really good.
Fat Thor is unbelievable.
And
then Iron Man's just...
Iron Man. Well, Iron Man is the best character.
You know, on the rewatch, who I really like? Nebula. What was going on with her, with the new one and the old one, is really deep, actually.
Well, she's like super tortured in that moment when they're both in the same like space time.
Yeah, it's super fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I rewatching, I was like, damn, her character's crazy interesting.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But that is Bern, that is the end of the first Marvel chunk of phases. The first 4 phases of Marvel. And that is how it wrapped up. What do you think now, knowing the ending of that?
Good job.
Better than where they started?
Good job, thank you. Better
like from Iron Man 1 to this, does it feel like, oh wow, they got a lot better?
Yeah. I mean, this is probably. I mean, like I said, it's hard to like say better or worse because it's all connected. I mean, literally
from Iron Man 1
with them going into the prior movies.
Yeah, it does.
So it's hard to be like, I like this movie that has those movies more than I like those movies
that has this movie.
Right, but man, that's good job,
dude. Yeah. It was fun to tell you, Bean Mafia. It has been fun to do these 300 episodes, and I guess you know what. Wow, it died.
Did it die right there? I heard it happen. I was like,
yes, you know what, and it died.
Wow. Holy shit, that is crazy timing.